Shit. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to News on the Flipside. I'm sorry, I've been being a retard tonight. So, and anybody who doesn't like that word, please don't write to me. Write to Michelle DeRoche. Okay, she'll deal with it. Yes, Michelle DeRoche, courtesy Joe Montalvo. There you go. It's. I was opening up because I was messing around with the book guys talking using a Scottish voice, using a dumb voice. I thought about using an Indian voice, but I don't want to offend anybody when they see my podcast white face. So I said, so we won't go there. Since we got a strike last week for something none of us even knows what we got it for. YouTube. That's what I got to say to you. Oh, I'm gonna put this on private shit. I hate them. I got to the point where I just don't like YouTube anymore.
They're kind of wishy-washy.
Well, they ban us for stuff I didn't, and then you can't even find what they ban you for. You're like, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
sometimes all you have to do is say a certain 3 letters in a row, and boom, we're off.
Well, last week we went 2 hours and like 14 minutes, and they dropped us. So
What?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Something we said. They said it was. I don't know what it was. I haven't had a chance to sit and go through it. I'm going to appeal it, but I've got to wait because we already had a strike from some other dumb stuff we got earlier in the year. So it's got 3 days left on it. When it clears, then I will send an appeal in for the other one. But they're at a point where I don't want to use them. And now that we're adding in Amazon Fire and Roku and all, I'm feeling the need less and less to use YouTube other than storage. So I might just start putting a lot of stuff on private. Like this one should be on private. I just haven't gone over there yet. But, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of y'all use YouTube for a lot of different things. I notice they're not as busy as they used to be. I don't see numbers climbing, not just on our show or the network, but in general. They seem to get to the point to stop out for whatever reason.
I think it's become less of what it originally started out to be because a lot of it's paid. It's almost like pay-per-view, and you can see previews as you search for certain things. Before there wasn't paid anything. Sure, you got a commercial every time you played a video, but there's so many paid podcasters out there on YouTube that it's not what it. I think it's beyond what they wanted it to be.
Well, it makes a lot of money, but what's happening for even to YouTube
turned into a cable station, its own paid
it is, and these 15-minute clips seem to be more popular, at least with the Z-Gens.
They also have the new thing, the shorts. Have you seen those? Like little 50-second things.
So there's just a lot of stuff you can do, and people got this TikTok scroll thing. Speaking of which, there's my phone over there. It's I don't even know what 50. I do see some funny shit. I'm not gonna lie, but usually, come on, man. I need more solid entertainment than I don't want to sit there and get calluses on the tip of my finger from scrolling all day. I'd rather find something, watch it, sit down, enjoy it. Have a drink, smoke a joint. I don't know. Watch some TV. Scrolling just gives me a headache. It reminds me of something like my 12-year-old kid would do, or my grandkid would do, or my little baby 5-year-old. Oh yeah, let's go. Shh. But instead, I'm seeing 20-something, 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, 60-something, 70-something. They're all doing the same thing.
I do it.
Yeah, everybody does it. Everybody does it. It's everybody just. I don't have as much time to do it, so actually lately all I've been doing is I got some video game on there, some casino game on there, and then it plays by itself. Half the time I just turn it on, turn the phone down, and just let it play.
One of those idle games you started up and it collects whatever you need.
It's at like an 8 trillion now, so I'll just let it play. I set it at like 50 billion and just let it play, and it just plays all day long, doing whatever the hell it's doing. Every now and then it makes you go hit a button or something because it's done something weird, but it just plays. And to be honest with you, I guess it's different for me because I get so many phone calls a day. My phone rings so much, I get to a point where I just don't want to see the damn thing. So I just toss it on the ground. Plus, TikTok screwed up my account, so I can't get to my good account on this phone. I can only get to it on my computer, which I'm never going to do it on my computer. It's too much of a pain in the ass. And so the account we were using to monetize for the station, that's the one I was talking about. Somehow or another, they screwed it up, and it got off my phone and got on my computer, and that's where it's been ever since. And I wrote to him. I said, he said, well, you have different emails for different accounts. I said, no. I said, I think the problem is my wife has an account, and I'm pretty sure it's using one of my emails. The account on my computer is probably using the same email. I'm not sure the account that's on this phone is not using the same email. So they're confused, which I can't blame them. I'm a little confused myself. But and then there's the thing about, should we support communist China? I've been getting a lot of email about this lately. China is supposedly building a military to wipe the United States out, and we're giving it the money to do it by using TikTok.
Well, I mean, it could be other things too, like Temu and just like all the manufacturing we've thrown over there. I don't think
we've taken all of that back, though.
I don't think we should support them, but I definitely think we should take manufacturing back to the United States, manufacture as much stuff here as we possibly can.
They're saying
get from other countries, and that's how we should support them, is by buying stuff from them that we can't do here.
And they're saying that new stealth bomber they've got out is courtesy of TikTok, so the Pentagon went through almost every computer in the Pentagon had TikTok on it. What? I mean, it's a Chinese program. It accessed everything it could.
Yep.
That was just dumb. And by the who
said
that?
It was essentially just a phishing app to get break into people's identities in banks.
Yeah. I mean, it does its job. Bruce, no, I'm not against TikTok. They can keep TikToks. My problem is don't put it on any government computers. No government computers, no government phones, no government cell phones. As far as your own private, text your happy ass off on it. Enjoy it. It is fun. It's kind of addictive even, and there's a lot of stuff you can see on there. A lot of different people posting a lot of different stuff.
Let me tell you about TikTok, guys. Okay, it seems like I've been getting a lot, and I'm not a prejudiced student. But I'm not getting a lot of American TikToks. I'm getting Middle Eastern TikToks. Yes.
So you gotta watch that, because you'll never know what that is. It might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. We used to have this guy. We had two different princes that used to write to us from Saudi Arabia and want to donate money to ICAR. Well, the problem with that is if I take money from anybody in the Middle East, big old red flag. Some government officer is going to be going, did he just take money from one of the Saudi princes? Oh, who the hell is this guy? And what is he into? Which exposes the whole organization. Now, granted, ICAR is a privately funded organization. It's not a CO 136, so they can't just come walking in without a big warrant and all kind of going to court and shit. But it still does expose it. It lets it open. Something that somebody may have not noticed. If I was to take money from one of them, they would have. And it was not even that. He wanted to send his presents. He wanted to send all the research, his equipment. I mean, this guy was big into this, and I really liked him. He's a really nice guy. We talked a lot, but like I told him, I said, dude, can't you have somebody else send it to us? I said, because if you send it to us, it's going to red flag all over. So I called a friend of mine who works for the Fed, and I said, what's going to happen if he sends me this? He said, how much money are you talking about? I said, I don't know, 50, 100 grand plus probably 30 or 40 or 50 grand in equipment. He said, it's going to flag something, Joe. He said, as long as it's on a legit, though, it won't matter. He said, but your name will be in the system after that. I said, my fucking name is already in the system. I said, but I don't want it to be in the system for anybody in the Middle East. I just, it's because we get other things that, like I was offered to go tour China for 2 years at a good pay. I mean, it wouldn't pay me big money to go spend 2 years over there tour. And I was like, but the current political environment, I don't want to be over there. I don't trust it. I could find myself in a year out there digging ditches because we're at war with somebody. They're not going to just send you home. They're going to be like, oh, we're a American prisoner. No, we put you to work. Or shoot your ass, one or the other. It's so right now the world's not just a very stable place. I would like to do some traveling, but I got some friends in Hong Kong I would love to go see. But I don't know if I want to go spend any time in Hong Kong. Hey, Joe. I don't know if I want to go spend any time in Hong Kong. I got some good friends.
I have a good college roommate friend in South Korea who I'd love to go over there to visit. I'd love to see South Korea anyway.
Yeah.
But you got Kim Jong-un just above that country, and he's rattling his saber right now. So, I mean, I would love to go there too. Just
That's
think about
not him. It's his sister. Come on.
it.
No, not right now. It's him. It's him. So when Trump left, Kim Jong Un come out, me, mighty Kim Jong Un, me, and his sister's like, but still, it's his country, so he came out. But now I noticed most of the polls and most of the things are saying Trump's going to win this election. So Kim Jong Un, you've been seeing him a little less each week. And the closer you get to this election, if it keeps looking like Trump's going to win, as we get closer to the election, you will see him even less. And if Trump wins the election, you will probably see him hardly at all. He's scared of Trump. Because Trump said, we just come down over there and kill you. He said, I will send in the SEALs. They will hunt you down like a dog and kill you. And he just disappeared. And Trump meant it. Just like when he launched that whole submarine worth of missiles at is it Syria? Anyway, wherever it was over there. When he tells you he's going to blow some shit up, he means business. He's going to blow some shit up. So, if you're Kim Jong-un and you've been told we're going to hunt you like a dog, yeah, you may want to go disappear somewhere. I mean, this isn't the old days of the Kennedys when we used to put hits on Castro. It's funny. Everybody else talks about JFK and they never talk about the hits he ordered on Castro. It never seems to get brought up. And for some, I guess because it tarnishes his reputation. I guess. I mean, I'm not exactly sure why.
Be careful what you say about Kennedy, man, because you'll have all of Ireland all over your ass, brother.
Shit, they need to stay over their side of the country and hope they don't get nuked by Putin. Like Kennedy's to start off with. He said something one time about all Kennedys should die. And it's,
wow, really?
Yeah. He can be an ass. Like today. So this is why I like Putin. So he's at a meeting in Europe today. Or yesterday, I think it was. And the first guy asked him a question. Aren't you going to do something with NATO? He said something about attacking NATO. And Putin, you've seen his face. Putin made this face. He said, are you as dumb as this table? Really, that's what he said to the guy. And he said, why would I attack NATO? He said, look, our problems with the Ukraine. He said, yeah, we like to pick on the United States. He said, right now I feel that the United States has kind of lost its way with Biden. And he went on to talk about, this is a shitty way to try to steal an election, to try to put a president in jail so you can get an election. Putin actually went off on Trump's side on this. And he said, it's just one of those things. He said, I've always looked up to America. He said, I don't want to see America fall. He said, if America falls, the world falls. He said, y'all don't quite understand. He said, in the end, even though we always hate on y'all all the time, he said, in the end, without y'all, it is chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, he came right out and said it.
The financial districts everywhere, particularly Europe, would crumble without the income and economy from America.
And it's more than that. China and Russia would go on a rampage. I mean, there would be nothing to stop them. And Bruce, as far as China building, okay, first off, we have 5,000 nukes. They have 800, so they got a long ways to build to where they can win. Okay, actually, they do have more ships, just like the old days when the Soviet Union had more ships, but our ships are better, faster, and much more powerful. So China's got a long ways.
Million citizens, and many of them have guns.
Yes, and as far as their jets, they just came out with their stealth, their 5th generation jet. We have 3 6th generation jets in progress that make anything they're putting on the field look like dog crap, including their new stealth bomber, which for some reason you can see the smoke plumes out the back of.
You were talking about that last week, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, no, this is the second time they've done this. I don't know what this is. I guess they think it's stealth. It doesn't matter. No, people are seeing big smoke plumes for miles. They're calling ahead. Hey, China bomber headed towards you. They're going to get shot down. Plus, it allows for any. It means it's a heat signature, so that means any of our missiles can lock on without any effort at all.
Yeah.
See, with ours, you can't do that. You can't lock on with a heat-seeking missile in our jets because the way the exhaust is set up, it gets rid of the heat. Yes, it's one of the things itself. Doesn't even leave a red. You can't even see a red glow back there when it's at high altitude flight, or even low altitude flight for that matter. And they're very quiet for being big ass jets.
Well, then we also have a couple of things that can not only outfly missiles, they can altitude them, go to a distance that the missile can't reach.
Kim Jin, is that your name? Let me look. I got a lot of friends in China. I got a lot of friends, Chinese friends in the United States. So, in an all-out war, China will die. Um, it's just how it is. It's right now you wouldn't have a chance. But see, what you're saying is, oh, China's going to build to be better than the United States. Well, that's fine. That's not better than Europe.
Hmm.
You see, what you forget is you're not just taking on the U.S. You're taking on the EU. You're taking on NATO. I mean, these countries are built to kick your ass, and I don't think that's going to change. They're going to keep arming up. If you arm up, they're going to arm up. So yeah, you might get a military bigger than the United States is one day, and you already got more people than we do. But in the end, it's not just us you're fighting. We have protectorates and we have honorates and we have lots of kind of agreements where they have to come in and fight too. Remember, we saved Europe's ass in World War II, so they owe us a bit. And they wanted it. Look, and you know they're still pissed at y'all for COVID. Oh yeah, they're still pissed. Remember, the United States pretty much cut off all trade with China, and Europe's done pretty good too. I mean, if China keeps spending the way it is without increasing its income, it'll be bankrupt in probably 2 years or sooner. I mean, it's already in the beds. It dumped what was it, $53 billion of U.S. debt today. Yeah, they're in trouble financially. Yeah, Trump's the one that did it. Trump told them. Trump was honest with Xi Jinping from day one, and Xi didn't want to play. He wanted things to be his way, and Trump said that's not the way it's going to be, and he just started leveling different things against him. And then when COVID came, they started leveling even more stuff against him. And then Biden came in and said, you know what? Everybody thinks I'm your friend. I got to level stuff against you. Now there's so many. I don't even know how to keep track of how many damn sanctions is against China right now. It's so we're holding your money basically and saying no, we're not going to.
It would be in their worst interest if they were to attack America. It would consume their economy to the point where they would never recover.
Yes, and they would fall into bankruptcy. Plus, they can't use nukes because nuking us is nuking themselves.
Yeah.
We share the same trade winds. Yeah, Bobby Lou, we share the same trade winds with them. So I don't know if y'all remember, but every now and then, American cars from the west all the way to the east will get covered in this red dust that comes from some desert in China. So that just tells you if we got nukes floating all around our country, guess what? So do they. And that's if we don't launch it. And we're gonna wipe them from the face of the planet. Do you realize within 15 minutes after the first strike, our submarines will wipe China from the face of the planet? All 1 billion citizens will be dead. It won't even be a thing. They'll just 4 submarines, and there's more than that. Just 4 submarines enough is to wipe the entire China off the face of the planet. Multi-warhead missiles.
Here's a weird scenario. What if China were to detonate nuclear weapons on their own soil, not on their people, but places where it wouldn't harm their people, but where the radiation would catch the trade winds and come over to America and kill California?
They could do that. They could do it. Eventually, some of that would end up back in their own country anyway, but still, they could do it. It is something they could do. They could actually launch nukes in certain places of their country. But the problem for them, anyway, they're going to launch it, it's not open places where they're either using for food or water, so they can't really do that either. China's not in the kind of situation. Russia's higher up than they are, so it's possible for them to survive if the United States gets bombed. But if they get bombed, not so much. And it doesn't take these days much to take Russia out. Think about it. There's only 140 million people in Russia anymore. And we know where the majority of them live. Boom, boom, 2 bombs. They're down to 50 million people. Probably most of them too old to fight.
Is basically unmolested forest.
Yeah, so it's too easy to take Russia out. Russia will be dead with nobody to fight for anymore. And China, like I said, it doesn't take long. So just if they hit Hong Kong and Beijing, there's 5 cities they hit, 500 million people are dead in 5 minutes. 500, probably 600 million dead in 5 minutes. Boom. Boom.
Isn't Hong Kong the most densely populated city on the planet? Or one of, if not?
Yeah, if it's not. It's so you would see, and then between the radiation and the starvation, another 300 million, 400 million dead in the next 3 months. 900. So that leaves them a population of 400 million. And how many of them can fight? That's a tough one. How many of them are even an age group, where they can fight? That's another bit. Where the U.S. still has trained troops. I mean, come on.
Huh.
Everybody in the 40s was fighting overseas. Everybody actually in their 50s and 40s and late 30s were fighting over in the desert. So they're all trained troops. That's the problem with going and getting into a fight with the United States. There's too many of the people who are going to be in the field have fought in battle before. And it makes such a big difference when you've been in the field before because you're not going to hesitate. Nobody's going to hesitate. You're just going to kill them. Whereas this young Chinese guy, first time he's actually been out there is looking at killing somebody, nope, he's dead. Just because he thought about that, nope, he's dead. America done killed him. And that's what happened to Americans in Vietnam. I think the average lifespan when you got there was 18 seconds on the line.
That was for the second lieutenant just coming out.
Yeah, just coming in, newbies. And I mean, war's a bitch, man. And China hasn't really fought a real war since, I don't know.
Genghis Khan, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and they got their asses kicked. So they built a wall and closed themselves in and fought with each other for 5,000 years. Getting into the real world and getting into fighting with everybody else is a much different thing. And China's doing it wrong. They've already pissed off Japan. They've already pissed off South Korea. They've already pissed off the Philippines. So they're already ready to jump on them. Europe is already pissed at them, so they're ready to jump on them. So what are you doing? You want to stick the world on yourself, you're going to die. And India's already pledged to whichever way Britain goes, they're going.
Who was that? Can you repeat that?
India.
So what are they going to do? Go with who? Britain?
Yeah, they're a Commonwealth of Britains. So they've already pledged to go wherever Britain's going. And so they're larger than China now. They have more people. They passed China up just a few years ago. Now their military's not as good though, but they have more people, and our military is better. So, and now we're giving fighter jets to several of the countries that border Russia, F-35s, mind you, and putting them really close to China. So I don't know. It's looking like the Chinese better watch yourself because we will kill you. The U.S. is falling for a big fight, and I think that's what Putin realized all of a sudden. Biden was looking for a way to stay in office, and blowing the living shit out of Russia is a way to do it. You might not, a normal war, you still got to change over. But we're in a nuclear war. We're not switching presidents. I don't know what we're going to do. Lose, probably. No, Carl. Joe Biden couldn't front a war. Jesus Christ, you got to be kidding me, man. Okay, first off, presidents do make decisions in wars. But do you want Biden or Trump deciding what tactical things we're going to do against countries like China and Russia? Really? I mean, come on. So we have generals and admirals for 4-star generals and admirals that have been in combat and actually know what the bleep they're doing. Trump's fine, but Trump ain't fought no wars. You better watch it. They'll draft this kid. They're already trying to put him in jail.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've been listening to all these attorneys, even Democrat attorneys, saying putting Trump in jail is suicidal.
Yes, it is.
They said there is no way to put this man in jail that will not cause all kind of shit. Right. He said there'll be all kind of lawsuits, there'll be all kind of this, all kind of that. Plus...
Well, think about the logistics of the Secret Service that have to go in there with him.
Yeah, he'd get a whole section of the jail to himself. He'd have catered food. Melania'd be by, give him a little booty here and there. He might have the little girl that sweeps in there, give him a little booty too. And then he's going to win the election, so he'd be ruling the country from prison. What sucks for Trump is, because he can get out of jail if he wins, but what sucks for Trump is with felonies, there's like 34, 36 countries he can't go to. They won't allow you in their country with a felony.
Huh.
Yeah. What were they doing?
What about the mistrial, dude? I'm telling you, there's a
So,
letter out.
so today's the 7th. We got 4 days. There could possibly be a mistrial. This guy could also decide not to rule against Trump until he's had a chance to appeal, which is possible. Um, he has to know putting Trump in jail is going to start a revolution in this country. And I'm just saying, it's not going to go down the way people think it is.
Nope.
The megas are going to lose their mind, and a lot of other people are going to lose their mind too. They're just, because nobody believes this trial is real. That's the problem. I think 80% of America thinks it's bullshit. Now, there have been some independent and some of the red ones say, yeah, well, maybe he should cancel his campaign. But then a bunch of them are saying, well, why don't we wait and see if he's going to get an appeal? Because really and truly, I mean, this was a state case from day one. But I see the Biden going full steam against, do you want a felon running your country? And then, of course, there's Hunter Biden, who looks like he might be going to jail.
Yep.
And his daddy said, I won't pardon you. I won't pardon
That trial is looking pretty sketchy, too, though. But there sounded like there was some good news today on that. I don't remember what they said, but
I got it somewhere. Something about some jury selection thing or something bit him in the ass. But and there was a bunch of stuff that's ruled out. He can't bring it in. Certain testimonies from certain people can't be admitted in court. So he was trying to bring in witnesses from the military and stuff. Dude, you did drugs and you bought a gun. You lied. I mean, any of us would have been in trouble for it. Except the difference is me or Sean would have been doing 3 years.
Yeah.
They might have suspended me and Sean's because we old bastards, but still, it's because putting people like us in jail means you got to take care of us. So, same thing with Trump. Do you know how much it's going to cost to cater Trump in prison? It's almost worth seeing. I mean, really, anyway. I'll calm down. I'm getting all happy and stuff.
You're allowed to get happy, man.
Well,
but what did the House Democrats do? They put a bill out to where if Trump goes to jail, he don't get no Secret Service.
They can't do it. They don't have a choice. He's the president. He has to have Secret Service. And anyone trying to take it away just means they're trying to kill him. And let me tell you this. Trump goes to jail and dies in prison.
No more America, brother.
I wouldn't want to be back.
Nope.
I guarantee you that.
Definitely would spark a war, I would think.
Oh, it'll spark a serious one. And, I know Joe Biden's holding the reins so he can get the National Guard out, but I'm not sure how much of the National Guard is going to side with Biden. And you can't send the regular military in. Ooh, no, you can't. That's not even allowed. That's the whole reason that we have the Second Amendment to start off with.
Yeah.
It's
and that's what. Yeah. Like I told you last week, a friend of mine, her kids in the Marines, and I asked him one time, I said, "Would you shoot on another American?" And he said, "Sean, listen. My job is to protect the Constitution of the United States. That's my job." So, no, I don't think he would fire upon anybody.
It would be a tough one. It would cause a revolution in the country. You'd see states starting to divide up and stuff over it.
But then again, they might call in the UN, Joel, right? Could they call in the UN?
No, because Americans won't put up with it. So let me remind you people out there where the majority of guns are in the South. Okay? Oh, yeah, by far. For every gun that's in one of your big cities like New York or Los Angeles or Illinois, there are 5 down here. And you know what the difference is? These SOBs can shoot.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They were raised shooting. So I would not. It's not a war you can win. It would be nasty, funky. You think the revolution was shit. You don't even know what's coming here. Trying to put a president. What I would do for the sake of the country is I'd say, okay, you were found guilty. I can't put you in prison. It's not going to work. You have to have Secret Service. Then I'll either give you house arrest or I'll give you probation. I'll give you like 5 years probation. You can go do what you're going to do, but you're on probation for 5 years or for 3 years, whatever. Because since the majorities were originally misdemeanors, I'm not sure how he can go with all these crazy numbers. So that's what I would do. That's me. I would say probation. Probation saves face for everybody.
Yep.
He's safe. He didn't put him in jail. Trump had admitted, and then of course now, if the New York Supreme Court overturns it, that's a whole different thing. And if they don't, the other Supreme Court will. I don't.
Well,
I just. It's just
if
hard.
the New York Supreme Court overturns it, can't the court itself? Can't the court that had the appeal turned over? Can't they make an appeal as well?
They can.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to matter.
For years.
Well, no, it wasn't. It won't matter because. So let's say he's going to make a ruling on 11th. I don't even think they can make the appeal until 30 days after the case. So, is he going to let him stay out of jail? Most judges will let you stay out of jail while you're making an appeal, especially if you're rich and famous. So, he'll be able. It'll take probably 30 days. It'll be 30 days so you can make it, and another 30 days in appeal, which puts it only 2.5 months from election time, by the way. Now, if that court decides to go with the judgment, then it's up to the other judge, when Trump goes to jail. Even though, of course, at that point, the Supreme Court can step in and say, okay, we want to take a look at this. And if they overturn it, then it's overturned. There's nothing they can do about it. It's done.
Yeah, and plus keeping someone in jail to write out their appeal with their lawyer is more expensive to the state because they have to provide food, clothing, lodging at the jail center for the victim, and then they have to allow the lawyer to come in every day so they can talk about how they're going to go about the appeal, and that means they have to have guards at the gates to let the lawyers in and out. So it's more cost efficient for the court to let them stay home for the 30 days while they make their appeal.
Well, one of the House Democrats, when they were saying they should take the Secret Service away because he's in jail, he doesn't need it. One of the Republicans stood up and said, "What? Did you forget about Epstein already?"
Ooh.
And the lady looked at him like, "Well, what do you mean?" Well, obviously, I mean, come on. Do you really think he hung himself with 3 cameras in his room and 5 people watching? And he said, "That's the fate you want to give to our president?" So she just looked like a total ass. I mean, and even the other Democrats who were kind of leaning towards her kind of looked at her like, "Oh, wait a minute now. If we put him in jail and somebody kills him, it's going to be over."
He'll be over. He'll be on.
Because you'll never be able to prove to anybody that he killed himself. So, even Epstein, most people were kind of like, "No, we don't believe that." Everybody who knew Epstein said the same thing. They didn't believe it. They said that he had enough that he should have walked out of jail without any problems at all.
Yeah.
So, and then there's been other people who have brought up the fact that we've had Epstein stuff for how long? We know who all these people are, but not even one person's been arrested or prosecuted, and we've had it for a while. Nor has Hillary Clinton been charged with trying to sway an election by giving false information to the FBI. But yet Trump, in just 3 months, was tried, prosecuted, and is being sentenced. It stinks. Nobody around you can't say it doesn't stink. I mean, even the Democrats have to admit it stinks.
But then again, they put Trump in jail. Then Obama got to worry. Clinton got to worry because they can come after them.
They can. And Trump's attorneys may push it. Even though I think Bill's too old now. He's probably senile by now. Obama, on the other hand, isn't. And neither is Bush. And they're already wanting to go search their places for classified documents. So, I mean, I don't know. All of it stinks. It's sad that we have to go through this. It's sad to see this happen just a few months before a presidential election.
The militarization of our legal system, it's ridiculous.
And somebody asked the other day, because like 4 different prosecutors turned this down. And and this was truly past the statute of limitations. They came in and took this from being misdemeanor stuff and made it into felonies. And what's her name said in the court that he never gave her hush money. And how can you trust the lawyer guy? He lied how many different times? He went to jail for lying. And he was getting, this was one of the things that was keeping him out of jail by talking about this. So how can you trust anybody in that? And now, by law, they're supposed to release the jurors' names. Because you're supposed to be prosecuted by a jury of your peers, not by some unknown court. That's like the old Star Chamber shit from TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know who these people are. Yeah, really, we'd like to know what who they backed. We'd like to know what they said about Trump.
Yeah.
We'd like to know what made them believe Cohen after they know he lied. There's a lot of things we'd like to know. So that's all going to come to pass before it's all said and done. Eventually, somebody will just leak it. That's what really will happen. Somebody will just leak it.
Or some go-getter reporter will find them and at least maybe not find their names, but get pictures and video of them. Say, here's one of the jurors, or here's two of the jurors. That could happen as well.
Somebody said, why don't you just go look at the juror's bank account and see how much money was put in?
Well, because there's other ways of hiding that.
Yeah, and I think the courts look at that stuff anyway before you become a juror. So I mean,
no, he's talking about after the fact that somebody.
Yeah, so any money coming in after the fact, how could you tell? I mean, what would be the difference?
You'd have to check and see that.
If they have all the same amount of money deposited.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, or the fact that they had $10,000 in there, and then they got $1.2 million in there. That's kind of gave me that something went on that was funny money business. I don't know. I mean, it looks bad. It makes the country look bad. And even the Europeans are saying, well, if he was guilty, why didn't you do this 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Why did you wait till 5 months before the election? See, that's what the hard sale is here for everybody, not just Americans, for the Europeans too. Mm-hmm. They're like, this just stinks. And you can't really sell. The only ones that'll buy it is the Democrats, and even a lot of them are having a hard time buying it. Because they're not thinking, but this can happen to them now. The Democrats have always been bad about this. They open up situations that now the Republicans will use against them. They're going to start going after candidates like this. They'll say, "Oh well, he did this, this, and this. We're gonna tie him up in court and find a hung jury and get him down to like Louisiana, where he's going to go to jail."
Yeah.
Because there's no one when asked, when the country was polled, 77% of America said they did not think Trump could get a fair trial in New York.
I absolutely agree. I don't think he got a fair trial at all.
So
I don't think he was brought to trial fairly. How about that?
Yeah, the whole thing stinks. So we're going to see. I mean, and see, I don't understand why the Supreme Court can't just the New York Supreme Court just can't, or the appellate court, whatever they call it, can't just step in right now and say, okay, why don't we look at this before he's given sentence? You know why? Because they want the sentence to go through. They need the sentence in to make it official.
Yeah.
He got 10 years or 5 years or whatever. They're going to give him 10 years in a federal prison, no less. That's why they said he don't need a Secret Service, because he's going to be in a Fed pen. Well, Epstein was in a Fed pen, and Epstein is dead. So we're not buying that, my friend. That you're going to have to give us something else other than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love my country to death. I don't want to see any more of this. I'm getting tired of seeing. The Democrats have become so corrupt that it's not even funny anymore.
Yep.
They're so scared of losing anymore that the corruption has just reeked all over the place. When you look at Joe Biden, everybody in this country knows Joe Biden has no business being in the White House. And the fact that anybody would vote for him at all makes you just wonder how much you hate your country. I mean, come on, guys. Anybody voting for this guy, you've got to wonder. It doesn't really matter what color you are at this point. He has no business in the White House, and neither does Kamala. And it's not our fault that you can't find a suitable candidate to put in there that can beat Trump in a fair out case. What do you mean, Dean? Oh, no. Don't, if you see any polls that, so just the other day, I was talking to Jay about this. So just the other day, they put up a poll, Newsweek did, saying that Biden was 1 point ahead. Later that day, they had to retract it because actually Trump was actually up 1 point ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of those polls are wishful thinking. And we've been talking about the polls at the end of the show for however many weeks, and they don't really change. And Trump is, I mean, he's got a minimal lead most of the time, 4 points, 5 points, 3 points, whatever. And last week, some places even 2 points, but he's polling ahead, period. So almost anything else that's on there, even Biden being a close like second, it's all wishful polling, all of it. It's none of it's real. Can't be real.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, when you go on to different sites and you look at what states states, he's winning in all of them. There's none of those states that he's losing in. He's even almost at a tie in Virginia, which is traditionally blue.
Yeah.
Which amazes me that Virginia is blue, by the way. I guess because of D.C., but guys, Virginia was the heart of the Confederation. What do you think? No, it shouldn't be blue. It's just one of them things you wonder about. Personally, I don't think we should have blue or red. I think we should do away with Democrats and Republicans and independents and all of that. Because
most of it would be a one new world order, then, would it not?
Well, no, I mean the majority of us are centrist anyway. The majority of us are in the center. Whether you're a blue or a red, most of y'all are in the center. You're leaning to the middle, and the people like us are in the middle, and you got independents are kind of in the middle. So I mean, really and truly, that's the ones that need to be served. The rest of them can go f off. The crazy lefters and the crazy righters don't need to be served. That's not what we're about. Even though all I ever hear anymore from the Democrats is progressive bullshit. And I don't even understand some stuff like, let's put transgenders teaching our kindergarten classes or reading. Why? Only in New York and California did anybody think that was cool. The rest of the country, even the other blue states, were like, excuse me? You want to do what? And why would we do that? It's just things like that. They can't help themselves. Or certain words like them and they. Okay, I'm going to repeat this again. If you know anything about psychology and you refer to yourself as them or they, that means you have psychological issues.
Yes.
Okay, that's what that means. Don't have to take my word for it. There are studies and studies and studies on this.
If you talk about yourself in the third person all the time, it's also an indication of mental disability.
So where in the old days this would have been corrected because you're a sick individual, today it's a life choice. Bullshit. It's a crazy choice. You don't refer to yourself as them or they. If you're referring to yourself as them or they, there's something wrong with you. Go seek professional help.
Ooh, what about these people who not necessarily refer to themselves as a they, them, he, she, it, but they're no longer male or female? They're a season.
Yeah,
their gender's a season. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? I mean, are you just
that is smoking too much marijuana?
Are you trying to make a statement? All these other weird gender things, or are you truly that like insane?
Yeah, well, everybody wants their little special niche.
Yeah.
So that's why we got the 5,000 letters in gay now.
Here's the truth. There are 8 billion people on this planet. None of them are special. None of them should be special. We should all be equal. Just because there's a guy who's really good at basketball and gets paid millions of dollars does not make him special. Makes him gifted, maybe, but not special.
I don't know. It's a shame we're in this kind of place where we think calling yourself them or they is okay. And you know what? Most other countries on the planet does not find that shit funny. Even the Europeans are kind of like, what? Yeah. The Americans can't even figure out what sex they are. So when the world looks Democrats, I don't even think y'all think about things like this, but when the world looks at us, they look at us like, wow, America can't even figure out what sex they are anymore. They can't even tell if they're one person or two person or 5 people. it makes us look weak and schizoid. And the rest of the world just gets a big giggle out of it while they go on with their lives.
Yeah.
Most people don't think the he, she, it thing is funny.
It really isn't. It's a mental health issue. I'm fully convinced of that. I mean, especially with the transgenders that want to physically destroy parts of their body to become the opposite sex. I mean, that's just there's a mental issue there that has to be addressed before you go to that surgery.
Well, they're supposed to be. So a lot of states, you can't have that surgery unless you see a psychologist first. Now, if you go to California and New York, they'll do whatever they want. They'll let them.
You can probably find the guy that'll do it for you without.
And a bunch of the southern states have now passed laws that a child cannot be mutilated even with the parents' consent until they're like 25, I think.
Yeah.
So they've taken that away.
Because I think what is California, the age 6 or something is when your brain is fully 100% mature.
Yeah. Well, California, New York will let them do it as young as 14.
Good God. Well, there was a story that I read or blurbed about or heard about weeks ago about I think the child is 8 and the parents have already started the hormone progression to get the 8-year-old to swap genders already. That's insane. The kid's 8. How does an 8-year-old know what the difference between a man thinking and a female thinking is? No, even I don't know the difference.
Well, here's an interesting story. So my old co-host who passed away now, we were listening to a thing that was going on in New York where these 2 lesbians had adopted this little boy, and they started dressing it as a little girl. And by age, I think it was 4 or 5, they had it dressed, and they went and said they wanted to have its sex changed because that's what it is, and that's what it was. So New York was going to let them do it. Well, I wrote to the district attorney. I said, no, this is child abuse. I said, I'm going to write to the federal court over this. I said, you need to stop this now. I said, this is child abuse. So I wrote to the New York Attorney General. They wrote to the prosecutor and said, stop it. We need to look into this. Then the Supreme Court found out about it and said, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
So then the other prosecutor from New York arrested the 2 moms, put them in jail for child abuse because they had just been under interrogation. They broke and said they had just been dressing this little boy up as a girl since they got it. They were conforming into a little girl, even though it wasn't. It was just a healthy boy. That's sick. I mean, that's sick. That's people who need help.
There's a mental breakdown there. There's something mentally wrong with those 2 adults.
And they found that this happened with other people. Other parents have done shit like this.
I can guarantee you this much: if in 1975, when I was almost 8 or 9 years old, if I'd have gone to my mother and said, "Hey, Mom, I feel like a woman. I want a sex change operation," she'd have taken me to a psychologist the very next day.
Yes, you know she would have.
I'd have been marched into a psychologist's office with probably being pinched by the ear as I go to find out what the hell's wrong with me.
Frank, what do you mean anti-gay? No, Frank. So you're getting the wrong impression. So first off, I have gay friends. I have gay relatives. One who was a billionaire who's passed now. But if you're gay, you're gay. Okay. But a lot of this stuff is not. It's a fad, especially right now. It's faddy and it's trendy.
A choice, not a.
And it is a choice. So I got into it, the Lesbian Coalition in LA. I was invited to speak in San Francisco with them. And they said, "Oh, this old white guy, we're going to eat him for lunch." Well, the old white guy does his research, not just me. I had several of our hosts on the network do some research for me. So first off, you can't be born gay. You can be born with a disposition to be gay, but you can't be born gay. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Secondly, somewhere you have to make that choice to be gay. There could be lots of reasons why you choose that.
Choice made, I believe.
I mean, there could be lots of reasons why you made that choice. It could be just it's the way your body's leaning, and that's the way you want to go. It could be some kind of abuse. A good bunch of people who go gay have been abused by male or females. Like 40%. Not me. That's all research, hardcore research done. That's shit done by the feds. So all this is going on. Plus, there's one other little feature that the LGBTQ community never tells you. 58% of everybody who's gay goes back straight within 10 years. And I personally know a bunch that have gone back straight.
There's quite a flippage in that community, yes.
Actually, the national thing says it's 61%, but California says it's 58%. But regardless, more than half of the people who say they're gay go back straight within 10 years.
And years
So
ago, I think maybe the 90s, I think the average dating lifespan for homosexual couples, and I don't think the differentiated between male couples or female couples, was like roughly 3 to 6 months that the relationship would last before it fell apart. So
yeah,
there's
so
that.
thank God that's
We
changed.
keep
Thank
the
God
relationship
that's changed.
going.
I mean, you've got some long time gay marriages now. Thank God for that. I mean, if you're going to get married and be with kids, you need to be long term. Sarah Jamie. Oh, like Sarah Jane. Oh, like from Doctor Who, Sarah Jane. Okay, I got you. Um, so you have let's use some famous people. So Elton John and his husband has two boys, and what's her name? The actress from Contact. What's her name? The hell's her name? Jodie Foster, and her girlfriend have two boys. Now, Jodie Foster and them, I gotta give Jodie credit. She lets the dad see the boys, so they have a male influence. Even though she's definitely anti-men, you can hear it when she speaks. She's kind of a man hater. She still lets them have that, and hopefully she's not like that around the boys. Last time I seen both the boys, they looked good and they were both straight. So at least that's. So, and I've always said this: if you're going to be gay, that's fine. And if you're going to be two women with raising two girls, then you need to let them two girls have a straight influence, or it's not fair to them.
Yeah.
The same thing with guys. There needs to be a straight influence, or it's not fair to them, because the majority of the world is not gay; it is straight by far. Less than 2% of the population is gay, and usually it's like 1.15 or some shit. So you have to be fair to the children.
And I
Stop
think
thinking about
worldwide
your
over here, like
dumbass
people,
self.
like less than 1%, but in this
Yeah, it's
country,
less
I
than
think we're a
1%.
little bit more than average. So we may be like 0.75% of that number.
Yeah. So, and then there's all this stupid shit like, so if you're bi in the country today, there are like 5 different terms for being bi now. Okay, you're bi. You like guys and girls. Why do we have to five other names for you?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to add a new name, Sean? Is that what's going on? Oh,
No,
okay.
no, my fingers hurt.
Yes. Oh, I thought you were saying I was bi. I didn't know. I was just checking out, man. I was like,
No,
oh.
no, 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 no. I'm perfectly
I thought
straight.
you liked girls, but I could be. Hey, I've been surprised before. So,
Yeah, no, you don't
what's that,
worry
Sarah?
about me. My
What you
fingers
doing?
hurt.
Oh,
My
you think he's cute? He did look a little bit like Santa Claus tonight.
nah. Who said that, Joe?
Sarah said you're cute. She didn't say anything about Santa Claus. I said that. She just said you was cute.
Well, tell
Yeah,
her thank you.
something about your smile or something. Girl, don't be flirting with him. He's already got a big old head on him. Jesus.
Tell
Next
her
thing
to
I know,
come
I'll have to be smacking him around. Well, if you're going to do that, you should come on the system where we can see you. Or ask for an invite, and I'll send you one of our invite queues, and you'll be in a queue with us. All right. Okay, Karen. I don't, honestly, and this is the truth. I was raised in New Orleans, and there's a huge gay community down here. We don't care. We don't care what color you are. We don't care what sex you are. We just don't care. We don't even care if you're famous down here. It's not a thing to us. New Orleanians are raised that it's just part of everyday life. Like the rest of the fucking country should be raised. We're raised that way. We don't care what color you are. I mean, half of New Orleans is black. More than half of New Orleans is black.
Probably more than that.
We don't care. We go out and party with them all the time. Big concerts, festivals. It doesn't matter to either one of the colors. We just hang out together. As far as being gay, we don't care that you're gay. There's a gay pride parade down there. There's Essence Fest. Nobody cares. Be as gay as you want. They actually have 2 days where they just paint yourselves. No clothes, just paint. And walk around the French Quarter. Oh, I'm not shitting. Oh, yeah, you come see it for yourself. Nobody cares.
Search it on Google if you don't believe us. I mean, they're
Nobody really cares if you're gay or straight down here. It's
the
just,
nude
matter of fact,
airbrush.
a third of the French Quarter is dedicated to the gay community. Yeah, the French Quarter
Well,
itself, Bourbon Street.
a good segue, by the way. Do you remember back in COVID times that there were these two girls that they got their they got face masks, face painted on, and try to get into the stores to see if that would work. Then it wouldn't work. They actually had the face paint of a face mask, and then they tried to get into stores, and they weren't allowed in because they weren't wearing a face mask.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's, I mean, you'll see a lot of drunken people walking around naked. Nobody really cares.
Especially Mardi Gras time, girls start, pulling their shirts up to get free beads.
I agree with Joe 100%. Why? You don't need to be. It's their life. It's their choice.
You enjoy. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't harm me in any way. I don't care what anyone does.
I have several friends that are gay, or I should say lesbians and gay. How you want to say it?
My son is gay.
As a matter of fact, one of my good friends she's gay. And then, well, I mean, rephrase that. She was gay, then she went straight, then she went gay. Now she's straight again. Don't ask me. I don't ask questions. I just say, okay, you do whatever the hell you want. It's not my concern. It's not like I'm sleeping with any of them, so they can do whatever they want. It doesn't see, and that's where America gets jammed up. The Yankees get all stooped up on these things and try to make something out of it. And you're not really. Pittsburgh for some reason. I don't really consider Yankees for some reason. Neither are Ohio.
More Yankee than I am. I'm from Maryland. Maryland Southern.
You fucking Maryland. You're a bunch of fucking Yankees for sure.
No.
Even though you're below the Mason-Dixon line, you're still a bunch of damn Yankees.
The facts are, even for the Civil War, 50% of Maryland fought south, 50% fought north. Same is true for. Listen, my mom did this research for her book. The same is true for the states of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi. All of those southern states fought 50-50, so it was a wash either way. So it's half of your Southerners, half of our Southerners are Yankees, and half of the Yankees are Southerners.
But Southerners don't yank on it. The Southerners ain't always yanking on it like you damn Yankees are. Why y'all think we gave y'all that name? Because you're constantly yanking on it. It's bad for children, by the way. My hair will grow on your hand and shit.
It's like in the movie Tommy Boy when what's his name? Chris Farley catches David Spade wanking off. He's like, "Who's that funny comedian? Buddy Wankoff or something like that." It was funny the way he was making fun of him.
Now, as much as I pick on Yankees, which I do all the time, y'all ain't got nothing on them West Coasters. Oh my God.
Oh.
Y'all people out west, I don't know what y'all smoking out there in California. You need to put that shit out.
Too bad we don't have Sean Hazlitt tonight. He just came home from a trip, so he won't be on until next week. But
that's what I thought he was still at. Y'all are smoking. I don't know what y'all smoking out in town.
It's not. I don't think they're smoking it, Joe. I think it's in the damn water.
It might be in the damn water. I'm not sure where the hell it is. You people are weird.
Whack.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Thank God most of y'all are now leaving to go to Texas. But
the smart ones.
By the way, while we're on this, a good segue. So the number one move to state in the United States is Texas. So they got these things where they'll show your state, like they'll say Georgia, and then they'll show the 3 states that you moved to. Well, Texas is always number one. Florida and Texas are the most moved to states now in the union.
Yeah,
it used to be New York and California.
Texas because it's
now
cheap.
It's Texas and Florida. Well, Texas has a lot of tech industry going there now. Apple's moved there. Of course, SpaceX has moved there.
Google moved there also?
I think Google moved there, and a couple other big companies have moved there. It's the place to be. California's dying. And another, I think they said in less than 4 years, Texas will have passed up California and the amount of people.
Is this a good trend? I mean, what if all these companies like Google and other companies move to Texas, and now Texas becomes the new California, and then the same?
It might be, but Texans are a little bit weird. See, the problem for them is, there's big cities in Texas that you might be able to tan blue, but there's so much other land in Texas that's all red and will always stay red. I don't know if you can take it. I don't know if you can actually change it to a blue state. Besides that, I have noticed most of the bluebies are either going to Houston or Austin. And that's where they're going. So that's not enough to change because you get by section.
George has also been a huge thing in Hollywood. I mean, if you look at the end, if you watch the credits of most movies and certain TV shows, you'll see the Georgia Peach at the end. So the Georgia Film Society is working on these.
So the I forgot what they call it. The Hollywood South is what they call it. New Orleans started about 10 years ago, about 12 years ago, doing movie after movie after movie. About 5 years in, Atlanta said, well, shit, we're getting in on this. I mean, if New Orleans can do it, we can do it. So they got in. So they call it Hollywood South now, which is the two cities, New Orleans and Atlanta. And there, a good more than half the movies now are being made in those two areas. And so Hollywood's hurting. Plus, Hollywood keeps getting pedophilia issues and loser issues and woke issues. See, when you film in New Orleans or Atlanta, you're probably not going to have much in the way of wokeness. They're not real woke. Even though they're blue cities, they're not real woke. The cat might be woke, but the city's
Yeah,
not too
that
woke.
cat there, yeah.
Bill Bruford in the
Cat
house.
said, I will bitch slap you in the next week.
He's
Jason?
ready to chew up California.
No, I don't hate California. See, that's the problem. I like
Yeah,
California.
I don't think the whole state is whacked out, but there are certain definite.
Oh, Los Angeles and San Francisco are whacked.
Obviously, the standouts. Yeah,
And,
San Diego maybe to a
Syracuse
degree, but
probably
not as bad.
Oh no, it's worse. It's worse.
San Diego?
Oh no, San Francisco. No, San Diego's not as bad. Yeah,
I said San Diego to a degree, not as not as bad. Yeah,
it's not as bad. San Diego was never as bad. I mean, I was stationed down there. It wasn't that bad down there.
In all fairness, probably I would say San Diego is its whacked outest at the Comic-Con. When Comic-Con's in town, that's probably one of the most weird people
but it was the biggest Comic-Con. I don't know if it's Dragon Con's getting close, but I think San Diego's still the largest.
They're both very, very close.
Yeah, but I think San Diego's, because John goes to all of them. John Goodman goes to all of them for Writers of the Future, so he keeps me apprised of them. I'm San Diego, unfortunately, I'm not going out there. I wish Writers of the Future was closer to that because I would stay and attend.
Yeah.
I'm not going out.
I'd love to do the San Diego Comic-Con, but it's just too far
Dragon
away.
Con is a lot of fun, and now I know the owner of Dragon Con, and he's a nice
Dragon
guy.
Con is awesome. I've been there several times. So I've been there when it was under previous ownership, and there were some controversies there. And it was a different venue. It was when I went, the first time I went, I think it was 1994, and I got into the hotel. It's the same hotel that they filmed Manhunter with the guy from CSI. But I walked into the dealer's room to just see what was up, and the first thing that I see is a table of leather gear, really cool, like medieval armor type stuff. The next table over was leather, beady S&M sex gear, including phalluses and dildos. And then the next booth over was glass pipes, bongs, and other kinds of marijuana smoking devices. And I'm like, did I take a wrong turn somewhere? Then I turn the corner, and then I see a table with like models, Star Trek Enterprise models. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in the right place. And I wrote a review about that day, that you could go to this convention at any given time of the night or day and purchase either S&M gear, bongs, dildos, or spaceships. You can literally buy these things at this convention, and it's a sci-fi convention. Why are we selling sex gear?
They sell that kind of stuff. I know.
It boggled my mind. I'm like in my 20s or 25, 30, 25, 26, 27, and close to 30. And I've been to conventions in Baltimore for years, and I'm like, what is going on here? And I was shocked.
Well, these days, Dragon Con is 5 hotels and the convention center. It's huge.
It was 2 in 94, 2 hotels plus the trade center.
It's five hotels and a trade center. The trade center these days is mostly where everything's for sale at.
Yeah, that's where the dealers are, and it's like 2 or 3 levels.
I think there's 2 levels of everything you can think of in there.
There's a basement too, because one year I went there, Richard Hatch was in the basement, and then after I finished talking to Richard Hatch, he played Apollo in Battlestar Galactica. Mm-hmm. After I had him sign the comic books that I bought that he had written, I turned the corner, and who do I bump into but oh God, I just lost his face. I got his book here, UFO researcher, and I bought his book from him, talked to him for about 15 minutes. He sounded like he didn't want to talk to me, so he signed the book that I bought, and I left. But it was weird to find.
Well, now they just got the 2 massive floors worth of selling stuff.
Maybe they changed the basement. I don't know, but it was just
weird.
To find.
They've been changing. They're changing stuff all over the place every time you go out there. But
it
it's a
so
great
much
place.
money.
It's a lot of fun. They make a lot of money. And
40,
I know,
40 to 60,000 people per day for 4 days straight.
yeah, I think
Friday,
it's
Saturday, Sunday, and
65,000.
one
Yeah, I
day.
think it's 65,000 now. I
That was
had,
amazing.
yeah, so John Goodwin introduced me to Pat 2 years ago, and then again this year. Well, this year I actually had time to go have lunch with Pat, and Pat and I sat down and talked for a while. And I told him I wanted to come up this year, so give me a call, get me set up with the hotels and all, and get the badges, or get the what do they call them? Memberships. They don't call
Yeah.
them anyway.
Yeah, membership
But
badges. It's the same
yeah,
thing.
so but they call them. They that's what they call them. Though is the other thing. I don't know why. I didn't ask him why, but that's just what they call him. But he's a real nice guy, and we talked for a while. As a matter of fact, I got an interview with him. It'll be airing in a week or two, so everybody can hear it. And Bill, who's a guy that works with him, and he's a good friend. I know Bill's wife, Jody Lanai, which I'll be talking with her this year when I go to Dragon Con. She asked me to come talk with her, so I'll stop and see her. And then I usually hang out a lot with John and them at the Writers of the Future thing. They have a double booth, so I like to go in there and harass the shit out of them. And then I'll go wandering around. See, last year I get up, I'm going to do some interviews. So I walk over to the cosplayers, catch these girls and this guy. I said, hey, I introduced myself. So I'd like to interview you. And, which I know this much about these particular cosplayers. So we're talking, and I kept hearing people talking behind me, and I said, man, it's kind of rude. Why don't y'all stop that? And I'm talking to them, and they're telling them, and the second girl goes, she said, I know you. I said, do you? She said, yeah, haven't you been on Ancient Aliens? I said, yeah. She said, I just seen you the other night, and it must have just was a repeat or something. So she got to talking, and then she said, well, I guess that's what the people behind you want to talk to you about. She said, they're not here for us. And I turned around, it was like 17 people standing behind me. And they all wanted to talk to me about the blood type thing. I was like, shit. And I wasn't prepared for that because I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there for me. I was there for them. So it caught me off guard. And I said, well, I got a little time. We can talk. And I said, let me go sit down because I'm hanging out with the Writers of the Future bunch. And anyway, I must have did like 12 interviews with them. And they had a blast. All asking for autographs. I'm like, you don't need my autograph. That's funky. I still feel funny when people ask me, and I've been asked a lot now, and I still feel funny when people ask me for an autograph. It's just, I don't know, it's weird to me. I'm not, people I sound, I'm not that famous, people. You don't need to ask for an autograph. Oh, you a lot of people listen to you. I said, yeah, they do, but I'm not that famous. And I forget sometimes that I've been on a lot of TV, I've been on a lot of radio. And I forget sometimes we're on TV and radio every week. So, and at least let's see, this show, the other show, about 7 million people a week see my ugly face. So, what's that? Genteel gentleman? What is this? So, what are you coming to show us how friendly you are? A genteel gentleman? You want to talk to Jay? No, really? No, okay, I'll stop. I won't give you trouble. What's up? What's up? So you mean Trump in jail? So I don't know how you do this.
Yeah, the logistics boggle the mind.
And I have seen so many lawyers and prosecutors say this is an impossibility without starting some kind of movement in our country. What you mean, me personally? No, I am not. No, I am not getting.
But a new precedent in law.
I'm not getting behind any of these people. No, I'm not. I'm not going out there and I'm not doing resurrection against my own country. It's not going to happen. No, but I won't hate on somebody if it's legit. If it's legit, yeah. And I mean, putting Trump in jail without Secret Service is, I don't know what the fuck that is. Excuse my language, but I don't even know if I know the independents and the Republicans are not going to go for it. And I guarantee you there's quite a few Democrats are going to be going, what are you doing here? Bill Maher has already said Trump's going to win this election easily. Vegas has already said Trump's going to win this election easily. Doesn't really matter about this. And this will either be, I'm pretty sure the appeal will be before the election. So even if Biden can get some traction on this, as soon as the appeal comes out and they say it has to be retried, all that traction is going away. It just means the case was bullshit.
Hey, Joe, I have a question for you real quick. I
Good.
see a lot of Biden political commercials on TV where I'm at. How come I don't see no Trumps?
That's a good question. I haven't seen any Trump down here at all. And I know he needs
I
Pittsburgh,
haven't
and I
either,
know
but
I know he's
he
ahead in Pittsburgh, but he's so tied up in court on it, he hasn't had time.
but the question is, does he need it? He's getting enough press time
He does
with
need it
his
though. I mean,
conviction
he doesn't
that
need it, but he should take it. I guess what I should
yeah,
say.
he should still take advantage of it. I agree, but he's still winning the election because the Democrats have pushed all these things through, and they've kept his name in the news for how long? The last year? They've won
Yeah,
the
I
election
mean,
for him.
well, this is what they did with him in the 2016 election. Oh wait, here's this one. So what was this? Hunter Biden suffers jury blow. I don't know what that means. Hunter Biden's son, President Joe Biden, pleaded not guilty to charges of making a false statement to a federal form. Which, come on, dude, you read it down. You wrote it down. Excuse me. You were doing cocaine and you said you weren't. I mean, that's pretty much an open and shut case. We don't care. He's the offspring of the president. Um, they're saying that this looks like a jury from what they've seen that will probably vote against him.
What about the stuff about Biden's girlfriend finding a gun he bought and then
Throwing it
throwing it in
away.
a trash can near a school? And it was caught on camera, like public, out, like maybe the school cameras. I don't know, but she was caught on camera throwing away his handgun in a trash can near school property. What kind of moron does that? Who throws
A
away a handgun
moron. That's a
and
drunken
why?
moron.
I just
So in the
it
wake of
boggles my
former
mind.
President, yeah, no, in the wake of former President Donald Trump's felony conviction last week for falsifying business records to hide hush money payment to porn star President Biden, as is at 46% now, and he leads Republican rival by 2 points. Now wait, so this is a new Yahoo News government poll. This is a Democratic poll. This is not a real poll, ladies and gentlemen. This is not. There's no independents on here, and there's no Republicans on here. So let's see. In in the scenario, Trump loses just 1 point of support, slipping to 43. Biden 42. Wait. Now you see this already changed. So yet even Trump's felony conviction factored in a 24 contest remains so close that Biden's narrow lead vanishes once voters are given third-party option. Kennedy, Trump pulls ahead by a couple of points. So even they had to come back and correct. See what I was telling you about the Newsweek poll earlier? They had to come back and correct themselves because they knew they were lying. That's what they did here. They came back to let you know, yes, Biden's going to lose this election. Even with Trump as a felon, Biden's going to lose this election. Sorry, guys. Don't get mad at me. I'm not doing that's a Yahoo poll. Yahoo used to be conservative. Yahoo is blue as can be. Yahoo used to be run by a fair bunch of group of independents. Last I had heard, a female had taken over and hired all females, and some guy was suing them for not allowing them into the female group. So they're going to probably lose a lot of money over that.
Yep.
House bill funds new trench Philippines Taiwan military aid. Oh, we're going to give more money to more aid to the Philippines and to Taiwan. Okay, well, that's fine. So the Earth's magnetic pole could flip, and this is what would follow. So I hate when people write to me about this shit because it's
Why?
never what they think it is. Because people think, hold on, let me find out. People think when the pole flips that it means it's going to flip. Like the North Pole is going to be where the South Pole is. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the magnetic pole that's going to flip. So what happens when the magnetic pole flips is we have to change the way our GPS works and how we guide things. It could end up somewhere in the middle of our country to the middle of Brazil when it stops. So it won't be at north or south. It'll be somewhere else. And it's not the first time this has happened, by the way. The pole has flipped before. So it's not, people, it's not the end of the world. It's not what all you doomsdayers want to make it out to be. Oh, the poles are flipping, Joe. Oh, shit. The ice is going to land on top of it. No, it's not. Calm down. They're talking about the magnetic pole, not the physical pole. Let me tell y'all what. If the physical North Pole was to lip up and flip, we'd all be in a world of shit. There would be no more Northern Hemisphere. I don't even know what to tell you, idiots. Yes, it doesn't work that way. Oh, and by the way, again, because people write to me all the time about this flood and shit. So, people, I want y'all to understand. Any ice that's in the water, it doesn't matter if it melts, it's not going to raise the water any. Okay?
Yes. It won't.
It's not, and you don't have to take my word. You see this glass of ice here? When that ice melts, that water is going to be in the exact same place it is right now. It's not going to go up. It's not going to go down. It's going to be right there because it's already displaced the water. The ice has, so when it melts, it just fills back in what it's already displaced. So just so you know, ice on land is different. When that melts, that's going to help raise it, but that's only on different. So the majority of ice at the South Pole is already in the water, and half or more of the ice at the North Pole is already in the water. So when you hear these things, 20 feet, my ass, 20 feet. There's not enough ice out there to raise it 20 feet.
Yeah, there's not. And plus,
6 inches.
If the pole shifts and the frozen wastelands shift, there will be somewhere else where there are two frozen areas of water. So it's going to balance out.
Like I said, all going to happen here is a magnetic pole is going to shift, which is just going to screw up radar and screw up GPS. So planes will have to change the way they navigate. Boats will have to change the way they navigate.
It might cause a few airplane crashes if there's airplanes flying when it happens. Yeah.
Yes. It could cause some issues. Hopefully they would know when it was going to happen, but people get so carried away. I think the problem is that people have it misidentified, or maybe they're casting dispersions on it from something else they've heard about, which is crustal displacement, which is not, I think, what we're going to experience. So magnetic shift would be these are your two magnetic poles, my thumb and my forefinger. They just do that. They just flip. Crustal displacement would be this is the core of the planet, and this is what we're standing on. It does that like really fast. And if it does that, what could be on all the land could turn into underwater, and the stuff that was underwater could be land. And it could wipe the bulk of manhood off the face of the planet if that happens. But I don't think we're having that. We're having magnetic pole, not crustal pole shift. Okay, people, I'm going to keep y'all up to date on this. What does it say? Discovery in Turkey may reveal biblical Noah's Ark structure. Now, I know in the late Great Planet Earth they said they found this. Yeah, I know. I know they said they found this. All three places
have been debunked so far.
Now, this is interesting. China's new JHXX bomber is a stealth mystery. Yes. And it looks just like one of our planes. Not shitting y'all. I would put it up, but I don't want to get bounced from you-know-who. The stored Hubble telescope has gone into safe mode, and NASA's planning on keeping it alive. I don't know why. They were going to get rid of it. Now they're not. We talked about this earlier. China is building a military to defeat the United States. Okay. But they better build it to defeat Europe and everybody else. NATO news.
They're building a pretty big navy because I don't think they have enough boats to bring their army over.
Yeah, I know. We'd be sinking in bitches left and right. NATO. Bad news for Putin. Momentum builds for NATO troops. Yeah, they're joining by the tens of thousands. Okay. Well, people, leave Xi Jinping alone. Let Xi get his country back under control. If Trump gets in and Xi has some breathing room, maybe the two can strike a deal and stop acting like asses. Scientific discovery suggests God created the universe. We're not even going to read that. I don't want a bunch of people writing to me, so we're not going to read that. So
we can do that next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Hypersonic evolution, the SR-72, son of the Blackbird. This thing looks beastified.
It looks strikingly like the 71 as well.
It does. It looks a lot like
but
it.
There's obvious cues.
Explain something to me. Our 71 Blackbird, I've seen a lot of video on it. Is it like the top one we got? I mean,
it's the fastest airplane in the world.
So far, it is on record the fastest airplane.
Okay.
The only thing faster than that is a shuttle.
Los Angeles, it beats the record every time.
So I've seen these in flight. So this is what's weird. Its top speed is listed something like Mach 3.3. So when it's flying at 3.3, it looks just like a normal plane cruising along. But I was one of my friends was stationed down in Texas where they used to guard the B-52s, and they had a couple of these. So I was out there talking to him one day. By the way, if you cross the yellow line, they have orders to shoot you to kill. They have guards at every B-52 and every Blackbird back then. The Blackbirds are retired now. And they had orders, if you cross that line, their orders were to shoot to kill. You better be somebody who needs to be there, or they're going to kill you. So and I went to go send a friend of mine, Ricky, who was actually guarding one. I was standing on the other side talking to him. When this Blackbird flew over, the nose cone was growing red. I mean, it was glowing red. This thing, if it wasn't doing Mach 6, it wasn't doing anything. So I checked with some friends of mine, because and the thing I have is advanced avionics, advanced electronics, and I checked with a couple of friends of mine to see what we were talking about, and they said between Mach 6 and Mach 7. It's the only thing that could make the nose cone glow that red. They said at regular speeds it wouldn't glow like that. And in case you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, the SR-71 in one kind of way is kind of a big piece of shit, because when it's sitting on the runway, it's leaking all over the place.
Because the metal plates of the hull sit like this.
Yeah, but once it gets in the air and starts flying, everything tightens up. It's designed that way, by the way.
Yeah, it snaps together. It actually has to refuel immediately upon takeoff, because they don't fuel it until it gets its clearance to take off. So then they fuel it, and then it goes. While it's going down the runway, it's leaking like a sieve.
Yeah,
I don't know how many gallons, but gallons of jet fuel. And then once it gets
like
in the air,
fuel, all kind of shit,
and refuels.
Let's see what we got here. Polish and NATO aircraft respond to Russian attack on Ukraine. We didn't go blow nothing up.
Russian attack where?
On the Ukraine. The Russians the other day pounded the living shit out of Ukraine with a lot of aircraft. The Supreme Court hit Biden with a bill for all the bullshit he's been sending in front of him. Unprecedented. China dumps historic 53 billion U.S. Treasuries. It didn't even affect the dollar today. What the hell, China? I just kind of feel for him, because that should have done more damage to our economy, but obviously it didn't. Billy and Billy, huh? What you got, Billy? No, they do have some new big battleship. The Russians do, and they're scared to sail it in the Black Sea, because they keep sinking everything they sail through there.
They've lost
what is it?
Four capital ships.
They've lost a bunch of ships. I'd have to go look them up to see exactly how many. Russia's Cairo-class battlecruiser Nightmare has just begun. Well, this is a new one built, and it's being a piece of shit from the get-go. Oh, well. I love you, Russia, but you are crappy shipbuilders. Maybe you should start buying them from China.
I don't know. The Kirov-class battlecruiser was a pretty mean-looking thing, and the
battle it looks like a beast.
Yamato from Japan.
Yeah, it looks like a beast, but it's not stealthy or anything. It's just out there where you can see it and blow it up. Mikey, what? Yeah, it's just one of those things. Let's see who sent me all of this. Pentagon alarmed as China poaches. Wait, what? Let's go back. Son of a biscuit eater. Go back, thing. I want to see what that said. Pentagon alarmed as China poaches Americans' top gun. What are they talking about? What, they're taking our people over there? Any American who goes and serves for China should be shot on sight.
Yep.
I'm not even going to lie about that one. I'm just saying, people. Poachers usually means you're stealing them, so I would shoot their asses on sight. I sure would. SpaceX launches Starship rocket. See, it flies faster than the speed of sound. I watched this the other day. This thing is a beast. So one of the engines didn't light up. 37 of them did, and it went into space. It let go. It came back to Earth and fell in the ocean like it was supposed to. And then the Starship landed in Indian Ocean somewhere. The whole thing worked like it was supposed to. So, guys, that's a good sign. That means Mars, here we come. It won't be long now before Elon will start sending these to Mars and dropping off payloads and bringing them back. Sending them and bringing them back. And pretty soon after that, 2033 maybe, they'll start sending people.
Well, it won't be too long before we get to Mars. It won't be too long before you and I and anybody else in the country can rent or buy a rocket to the moon for the day and go, hang out at the casino on the moon colony, and then the
Well,
next morning fly back.
so I'm glad you said that because Boeing Starliner launched the other day with astronauts and actually hooked up with the space station. And what's his name? The other millionaire guy who's going to do tours in space. I don't know why I can't remember his. The guy from Virgin Airlines. Um, he's ready to start bringing tourists up pretty soon. But they're talking about moving the spaceport from New Mexico to Texas. At Elon Musk's advice. U.S. Army boosts precision strike capability with $1.9 billion Lockheed Martin her Mars orders. Boy, they're making them more deadly than they already are. Shit, they're already pretty deadly. I was watching them blow Russia shit up the other day. Well, it's interesting, Christopher, that China and Russia get to watch some of our weapons in action, just like they did in the Middle East. And they always show to be pretty freaking deadly. I'm just saying, man. They all look pretty deadly. China ramps up tensions around Taiwan. Keep it up, dude. You're going to start a war with Taiwan.
Yeah. How long would that last?
Well, I would imagine if China dedicated its military, they could take Taiwan in 2 days.
I was going to say a day tops, or at least get halfway through. But I think it would be within hours that they would start getting their asses kicked by NATO.
Well, we've been giving Taiwan some pretty serious weapons lately. So China would be taking some serious losses, even though they would win that war. They would take some serious losses. But all Taiwan has to do is hold them off until the Americans arrive or the British arrive, and then China's got a war.
Don't we already have boats there?
We keep them around, but we move them back and forth through the South China Sea and the Philippines. And
certainly we have a base there. I mean, the Philippines can't be our nearest naval base. What's closest? Japan?
I don't know if we have a base in Taiwan or not. I think it was a sore spot with China, because we keep one on Cuba, but I don't know if we have one on Taiwan.
I don't think we have very many naval bases on mainland Asia.
Yeah, I think we'd have to go looking.
There might be one in somewhere in Korea.
Oh, there's definitely in South Korea we've got bases.
We have a naval base in Korea. We have naval bases in Japan. We have naval bases in the Philippines. And we have Air Force bases in the Philippines.
We would respond pretty quickly. China would, before China could really do any really serious damage.
Yeah,
they might get on the ground. They might get on the ground, but will they stay on the ground? That's good, because we'll come in and sink everything they got along the coast immediately.
They may not even, if we activate all those assets in the Pacific, they may not even get a foothold.
Well, they might not. Let's see. Vast interior ocean, 400 feet underneath the Earth's crust, creates ring whiteite gems. Well, that's interesting. And how do we know that? We've been down there core drilling this. Leave the water alone. I mean, really, leave the water alone. Sometimes I get aggravated with why do we screw with stuff that we don't have to? Let's see. Over the next few weeks, I will fight for every vote. We can turn the... What the hell is this? What is this, man? Who sent me this? People, don't send me stupid shit. Hillary Clinton ripped off for comparing D-Day for 2024 election. Democrat. What?
You're losing me here, Joe.
Say that again.
She declared the 2024 campaign to D-Day. Joe Biden's 2024 campaign to D-Day.
Like how? Like Biden's winning?
No, I think she's talking about the Republicans coming in and kicking ass and taking names later.
Let's see. Hillary Clinton ripped for comparing D-Day to 2024 election. Democrat depression. Just I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Oh, we don't need to see no more missiles blowing stuff up. I'm trying not to look at missiles blowing stuff up. I'm trying to be a good person. Worse than inflation. Let's remember Trump's real record in office. 1.1% inflation. Gas prices were dirt cheap.
What was
Food
it,
was dirt
189?
cheap.
I think at the highest I was paying.
Yeah, so and I was paying that. So this is so on. These people, see, this is what's happened to our country. There's no honesty anymore. Salon is such a leftist piece of shit that that's all they can write. They wouldn't know what the truth was if it slapped them in their face. And they don't want to know what the truth is. They want to lie every chance they get. They want to tell their Democrat followers whatever it takes to get them to go vote for somebody else. And they'll falsify everything it's possible to falsify. Or they'll edge things so that they sound like the rest. So this month job thing was up, 270,000 new jobs created. So they didn't bother telling you that last month was bad, and they even made it worse. So I think it was only 120,000 above. So when you compare the 2 months, it averages out to about 140,000. So no, neither month were doing what they were supposed to. But see, again, no honesty, just lies. Instead of just being honest and telling you, they had to revise last month to a really horrible number, they just want to concentrate on this month. I hate people that lie all the time. Vladimir Putin says he'll make it easier to push red button plunging world into World War III. Putin, I love you, Putin. You know that. But you can suck on my lollipop.
We were just talking about that on Jeff's show that he'd act, or no? Did you bring it up earlier today? I can't remember. It's been
he's actually I think we did talk about it on Jeff for a little bit.
Yeah, he defended us by saying it would be his downfall if he were to take us out.
It's he dies. He knows that. Well, Putin's not stupid. Putin knows he died. Oh, let's see what the Washington Post has to say. Facebook post draws attention of judge in Trump's New York case. Is this the one they were talking about? The judges overseeing the case, former President Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felonies. Yeah, we know all of that. Charge prompted an online stir. Friday evening after he sent a letter to prosecutors, Trump's attorney that flagged since deleted online message by someone claiming to have knowledge of the verdict before it was announced.
Wow.
That's what I was talking about earlier, guys.
Yeah, my cousin is a juror and says Trump is getting convicted. Thank you, folks, for your hard work. The Post said, according to the letter sent Friday evening by New York Supreme Court Justice John whatever. Oh, man, if this is true, somebody's in a world of shit. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's hard to say.
It all depends on whether it falls on a Republican or Democratic judge.
Yeah. NASA building a solar sail to propel space exploration. Well, good for you,
Didn't they
NASA.
say that in the 70s and it failed?
Yeah, now they're finally going to do it. Trump's judge joins courts in dealing blows to Donald's allies. Trump's judge joins court in dealing blows to Donald's allies. Oh, well.
Who were Donald's
I don't know
allies?
what to tell you. That must be in the Georgia case. Pentagon alarmed as China. Well, we already seen that. So, a couple things going on. Let's talk about real quick before we do our polls. It's there's just what the hell is this? Oh, sorry, just something. NASA has. All right, stop with the habited planets, people. I know. There's lots of planets we can move to now. We just don't have the spacecraft to get there. Okay.
Well,
Send it to me. Allegedly, I have to agree with Jay on that. So let's go to the Georgia case and what's her name, Fannie Willis. Okay, Fannie. So right now they rescheduled it for October 3rd, which gives her a month to prosecute the president and get him prosecuted. I'm pretty sure his lawyers can jack this around enough time that this won't ever be finished before the election.
I think it'll be sufficiently squashed enough that once he's president, he can quash it himself once he's up there.
It's you can't prosecute a sitting president. All you can do is impeach him. So once he's in office, it doesn't matter what cases are going on. They're dead until he gets out. And of course, statute of limitations will be dead in all those cases by then.
Yeah.
So this is her only chance, but it's looking like she might be getting in trouble.
Yeah.
There's some stuff lately that's come out that suggests that she might not have been on the up and up, and a lot of people are now saying she used this to get elected in Georgia.
And when she does cry out about this, or they go after her for this, how many people are going to say that's, they're going to be in her defense and say they're, hunting demons or whatever,
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with her. Right now, there's an appeal going on for some other stuff. All that's got to go through first. It's going to be a while before this is settled. But they're saying October 3rd is when it's going to come back. And if that's the case, this is over with. The Florida case will not make it to trial before November, and there's other case that won't make it to trial before November either. So if he stifles out Georgia and can get this overturned, he's going to coast in like it was nothing. What was that, Chris? Oh yeah, giant structures found in deep space throws out our understanding of the universe in doubt. Okay, so I brought this up, I don't know, 36 years ago when I said, how come there's megastructures clinging together in space? I always wondered, I said the Big Bang Theory can't work because there's clusters of galaxies clustering together in space. And they're not moving forward, they're just sitting there. I was like, well, that can't be true if the Big Bang works. And how are they clustering together? Have they created some kind of weird orbit around each other? Is this some kind of alien technology? And then, of course, there are the Dyson spheres that we think are out there. Come on, damn earpiece. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird if you ask me, though. Some of these articles are really good. They just have no idea. And I tell this to people all the time. Science is like medicine and everything else. We're playing a guessing game. And our scientists are so dogmatic, especially the older ones, want to be like, oh, that's right, this is how it is. And no, but you're wrong. And it's like, I remember when I was a kid, there was no other planets in the cosmos but us. And I was like, really? How ignorant is that? And then all of a sudden we started.
Because none had been detected by a telescope at that point. And then so that they didn't teach us that they didn't exist. They said they probably do, but we don't know yet. So.
Well, but there was a lot of people out there saying they didn't exist, that this was it. Of course, and then there was, of course, the religious people with the firmament saying, of course, this is it. Well, people in the firmament, I guess you were wrong, because there's a lot more planets out there. A lot more planets out there, way more than we thought there was.
Oh, yeah.
That number is growing daily, and more and more of these planets.
Galaxy alone.
More and more planets looking like they can hold life, or they can have life, or may have life. I think we're starting to find out that we're not alone in the known galaxy.
We never have been, and we never will be.
And it's not us. We don't make the rules. We really don't.
What is Sam?
Oh, is he? You can pull it up, can't you? You got to ask. Oh, did you come in the code?
Yeah,
Ukraine gets massive armed vehicle boost from NATO. Oh, from NATO ally. Law is law. Internet disapproves of Nancy Pelosi and her husband's attacker, David Peppers. So wait, let's see this. Are they mad about? Wait a minute. Law. Internet disapproves of Nancy Pelosi and her husband's attacker, David DePepe. Serious charges are dismissed. I thought he got 30 years.
They maybe were civilian charges.
No, but I mean, didn't we report this a couple of weeks ago that he got 30 years?
I thought so, yeah.
This is saying they're dismissing a bunch of the charges against him, some of the more serious charges.
Hmm.
I know we heard that they did. Oh, man, sometimes I wonder. I wonder. Nancy, so wait, so y'all gave him 30 years and now y'all going to change this? Oh my God. Girl, you look like the Joker with that face. Get the out of here with that. You scared me there for a minute. You had a Joker that split mouth. Hers looked like that for a minute. Yeah, despite offering another apology, the PP received a 30-year sentence again last month. You got two 30-year sentences, 20-year prison term, attempted kidnapping, 30-year term for attempted murder.
Wow.
So, attempted murder. If he did, anyway, I'm just going to leave that alone. That'll just aggravate me. We're not going to talk about that because attempted murder, I don't think the old man could have kept him from killing him. I don't see no attempted murder there. I think it was a gay love fest gone bad, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Scientists finally think they know where the most dangerous part of the U.S. earthquake zone is. I'm not going to tell y'all, by the way. Y'all got to figure that out here. Donald Trump makes bold promise about TikTok after flip-flopping on ban. Yeah, because he knows. Laura Biden dangerously Normandy blood dust as celebrates 350,000 dead wounded Russian troops. What? Okay, I'm just going to leave that alone. You know what? These are supposed to be professional organizations like Newsweek and stuff. They write worse than I do.
Yeah. I've noticed some articles they don't do grammar or spell checks. And it's like, who wrote this? A third grader?
So this one says Biden's right. China's economy is indeed on the brink. Yeah, and Trump said that a year ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, Biden. You're not paying attention.
These things take time to accomplish. You know?
So we need to talk about this. People, close your ears if you don't want to hear about this. So what are these rumors about Biden pooping his pants?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a video of him, tooting on, at a Democratic convention. And
hey, Liam. So there's the video of him walking down the thing at the White House, and he just stops and he does that like a baby would do, with his arms out and his feet out and his eyes big. And then Jill walks the other way. She just leaves. Like, okay, you stinky bastard, you're on your own. Then, of course, there's the one at Normandy where he did the same face and all and was going to go shaking hands with people, and then somebody came and removed him from the stage. Look, this is all I got to say.
Does he have detectors in his pants to see when he's pooped himself?
If we have a president that shit in his pants, it's time for him to retire.
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay, I can put up with a lot of stuff, but that ain't one of the things I can put up.
That's pushing it.
Okay, that's just, what do you mean? Well, if Trump's in jail, he might be pooping his pants too. I don't know what to tell y'all. It's quite possible.
Yeah, but he'd be pooping his pants for another reason.
Yes. When Big Bob comes up to see him, and how Big Bob going to come threaten you when the secret agent's going to just smash him against the wall? So put your hands against the wall, boy.
Yeah.
Macron, bold move. France to arm Ukraine with merged jets. Oh, wait a minute, huh?
Wow.
Uh-oh.
That's not a good thing.
France, don't get Putin pissed off at you. I mean, really. US-2 B-1 bomber drops live munition in show of force against North Korea. Why y'all hate on North Korea? He's not scared of Biden. He's not scared of any president that poops his pants while he's arguing. Supreme Court unanimously ruled in favor of guns. I gotta say, the Supreme Court, the last year they have been doing a lot 9-0s.
Yeah,
weird to see this court working together.
I think.
But I mean, you got 3 liberals on there that are anti-gun, so I'm amazed. So what it's showing me is these courts are actually doing the law and not politics. Well, that's
they're reading the letter of the law and not politicking. Absolutely.
Yes. Jamie Lee down there. Let me tell you something how this really works. So you hear all this bullshit about owning guns and stuff like that. It's not actually what the Second Amendment says. If you ever go read it, it says we have the right to form a militia. A militia is a military.
It does say the right to bear arms. So, and by that they do mean weapons.
Yes, but they're talking about for a militia, not individually. It's not actually what the Second Amendment is for. The Second Amendment is for people like us 3 or us 4 to form a militia to protect ourselves from within and without. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to be limited to machine guns or tanks.
But how do you form a militia? You can't have everybody buy a handgun and then you put them all in a big vault somewhere and then
no. A militia is supposed to be made by local people with their weapons and whatever weapons they have. But by saying that, you're still supposed to be allowed to own weapons that militaries would own. because you're
Yeah.
supposed to be able to defend yourself. So what happened to the militia is it became the National Guard.
Oh.
That's what happened to the militias. They became the
Oh, wow.
National Guard. And now the governor decides what is going to happen with the militias, which is the National Guard. So that's what they really are. So really and truly, you'd have a hard time turning the National Guard against the people. You might be able to put the Army out there, but I'm not even sure if the Army would do it. And since the majority of Marines are from the South, I doubt you're going to get them to do it.
Yeah. I think you'd have a hard time having either group attack the country.
And I hate to say this to my friends in Democratic power. I hate to say it, but I don't think you can get the Democratic Marines to go out and shoot anybody. Shooting Americans on American soil is just not going
With
to
American
go over
equipment.
well. That's just not going to go over well. I mean, you'll have to kill so many people it won't even be funny, and then you'll have the UN coming down on all of our allies coming down on us. We will become like a third world nation.
At that point, we would become a police state for sure.
A very powerful third world nation, mind you.
Yeah.
It's still a third world nation. No, Jesse, we're getting ready to put the polls up in just a minute. Well, because we got about 45 minutes and we're going to be out here, so I will pull them up and just okay, what did you just send me? People, calm down with spam on my ass. What is this? Trump could be the first Republican since Reagan to win New York. He went up another 2 points in New York. Biden, there's only 3 points separating him and Biden in New York. Oh my God! Oh my God!
This election was over before it started.
This is some chocolate in your face kind of stuff. What's that, Rain? No, let me pull it. If you let me pull the polls up, I'll do it. No, I can't post them because we got a strike for something last week and I don't know what it is. And we ain't going through that again. Man, no, because the boss lady bitches at me when y'all do that. Yeah, she is.
Michelle?
Ooh, man. Yeah, because she's the boss lady.
Yep.
That's somebody that wrote to me the other day. Well, I thought you the boss. I said, no, I'm the owner. She's the boss. There's a difference. And he's like,
There's
what do you
a
mean there's a
distinction
difference? I said, she's the boss. I said, I just own the joint. I said, she runs the joint, though. What is that, Christopher? I don't know. Hold on. Let me pull this up and we'll check. Well, our polls start this weekend. So you'll be able to take the APC polls this weekend. They'll be on the website and they'll be on Facebook. I'll start posting them for everybody, and y'all can take them. Yeah, no, I want people to take them. That's what they're there for. So here we are. We are on the 270 to win site. This is 2024 presidential election polls. Biden, Trump, and others. Let's see. What the date starts today. So when was this poll? So here we go. Nationally, there's a tie all of a sudden. Trump and Biden are tied. Technically, Trump's up by like a half a point, but still they're tied. And remember, Kennedy is not in these yet, so we have to add that in a little bit.
He's not in most of them usually.
No, you have to. They don't like to do it, but you can actually add them in. Showing him.
Yeah, but I mean, you should just do a Google search for polls. He's usually not included in most of the main ones.
But they usually give you the option to include. That's what I'm saying. Let's see.
Oh.
So let's go Arizona. What we got in Arizona? Trump is up by 2. Florida, he is up by 8. Nevada, he is up by 6. That's a swing state. North Carolina, he's up by 6. Virginia is a dead tie. That means Trump.
Even.
Georgia, he is up by 6. Massachusetts, he's up. Ohio, he's up by 8. Michigan, he is up by 3. Pennsylvania, he is up by 3.
Whoa, we finally come to our senses.
Yes.
Wisconsin, he is down by a half a point. So that's a tight one in Wisconsin. New York, he is only 4 points out. Washington, of course, he's losing Washington. New Hampshire, he's down by 2 points. Rhode Island, he's down by 19 points. South Dakota, he's up by 20 points. Tennessee is up by 20 points. Texas, he's up by 15 points. Minnesota, he's down by 2. Louisiana, he's up by 14. Maryland, he's down by 21. Utah is up 28. California, he's down by 22. That's changed. Colorado's moved. It's 40 to 49 now.
Huh.
New Jersey stayed the same. Alaska, he's kicking ass. Indiana, he's kicking ass. Montana, he's kicking ass. Ohio, he's kicking ass. Maine, he's kicking ass. Maine 2, he's tied. Maine 3, he's kicking ass. South Carolina, he's murderizing. Missouri's murderizing. Wyoming is just, I don't even want to talk about Wyoming, so bad for
He owns this election.
Arkansas, Illinois, he's losing. North Dakota, he's winning. Kansas, he's winning. West Virginia, he's winning. Nebraska, is winning. Idaho, he's winning. Oklahoma, he's winning. Kentucky, he's winning. And New Mexico, he is down by 6. So he is up in all the swing states but one. So there is no, at this point, there is no path for Joe Biden to 270 or whatever it is. Yeah, 270. There's no path for him to get there.
How do you guys feel about
Right, babe.
people calling for voters to vote independent?
Well, a lot of people vote independent.
It doesn't matter where you vote, who you vote for. Well, it matters where you vote. Vote for who you're supposed to. But the thing with the independents is, if you vote for an independent and the independent doesn't win, you haven't lost. You put your word out. Those people who don't vote, they don't get any kind of say in anything that goes on afterwards because they didn't put their opinion out. So the more people that vote, the more chances of those independent people actually winning. I mean, that's the problem with the two parties is they're so strong that, the white party and the green party and the libertarian parties, and, there's a marijuana party out there. They just all can't get enough votes because of just no voter turnout.
So in that last one we read, I think he was only down by 10 states.
Wow.
I just keep seeing a lot of stuff around the internet, and I don't frequent social media all that much anymore, but when I do, it's about current events and whatnot, and I've been seeing a lot of, vote independent, vote for Jill Stein. Like, basically they're calling Biden and Trump birds of a feather in a way. Like, they're the opposite sides of the same coin, and no matter what, they're basically gonna result in the same outcome.
No, Trump was a much better president than Biden was. See, that's one thing we can say now. We have numbers now on Trump and on Biden, and Trump's numbers just murderize Biden's. On every aspect that you look at, Trump was better, from the border to war to
unemployment rates. All across the board was better.
All the way around. So we have the numbers now. Problem for the Democrats is they don't want to look at them. And people are trying to get the independents to vote away so they don't vote for Trump. Right now, the independents are all leaning towards Trump. Well, at least 54% of them are. So they're trying to pull those 5-6 points away from Trump. That's why they tell people to vote independent. But there's no real candidate in the independents. And except for Kennedy, there is no real candidate, any real independents that can do anything.
Yeah, the last election even heard about any independence was, I don't remember which year, but it was the year that Bill Blass, who was the Bill Barr, not Blass. Bill Blass is a designer. Bill Barr was the leading libertarian candidate. He was on most ballots, and it might have been Obama's first campaign run. I don't remember, but he was taken off the ballot in Maryland because Maryland decided that they didn't want the Libertarian Party on there. So no one could, even if you wanted to, you could not vote for him, and writing him in, it wouldn't count either. So there's that going on too. So they can't get enough traction to keep their guys on the ballots.
It's and then here we go. This is poll 538 polls, and then 3-6. Yahoo had Trump down by 2, but now they got Trump up by 1 in the latest poll.
What I'm trying to get at is, with the mounting stresses that are being displayed all over the world, really, with wars and the protests at all the universities because of Gaza and Palestine and Israel, I think that's kind of what I'm wondering about. Is it seems to be very politically charged in a way, and that's why people are saying, vote independent. But in the end of the day, does it really matter?
It does matter. When you're talking about people like Kim Jong Un and Putin and Xi Jinping, it matters who's running the White House a lot. You
Who?
can't have somebody that's not. See, most of the independents don't have what you need to run the United States. They're not going to have the support from the Senate or the House, and they're not going to have the support from the people. It's We don't know that we can trust them. Their names aren't public enough. We haven't seen what the results are from their work. Biden just got in because everybody hated Trump last night. He didn't get in because he was good. He got in because everybody hated Trump last time. Now everybody realized they effed up and they want Trump back. The economy is so much worse under Biden, and immigration is so much worse. And remember this: Putin has invaded a country a year. A country for every president that's been elected, except for Donald Trump.
Yes.
He did not invade anything while Donald Trump was president.
Well,
Xi
let's be
Jinping.
honest. He invaded the same country twice.
Yeah, well,
That's really what happened.
Kim Jong Un is scared crapless of Donald Trump. Most of the world will behave. Even Putin said it in a speech he gave just yesterday that with Donald Trump as president of the United States, the world is a safer place. This is a guy who wants to drop nukes on everybody saying this. The problem is right now is when people look at America right now, they look at a very weak country. I mean, come on, Joe Biden's walking around pooping in his pants.
Well, it's because we give all of our money to other countries so we could fund their wars.
Well, because we make a lot of money off of that.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what Americans don't understand. For every $2 we give away, we make about 10. And nobody likes to talk about that part of it. They only want to talk about, we gave away $250 million. Yes, we did. But we're going to make about $1.2 billion off of sales to other countries of those arms that they just watched. So for us, the Ukrainian is just like the Desert Storm was. It's like an auction for our weapons. You can see how well our weapons perform. And weapon sales are up because of that. And they always are when we're in a war. People get to see all of our new weapon systems out there and how diddly they are. And they're like, well, we want that for our country. Turkey just made a huge order from us. So we're not really losing money on this. We're actually making money. But people don't like to talk about that because that changes the way you look at things. We should never have a war anywhere on this planet. There should never be any wars. Wars should be, we need to figure out a way to get rid of them altogether.
Where we are technologically wise, we should be emotionally stable enough to not have war anymore.
Yes. Well, we should. But right now, with the current situation in our country, so we're in a bad spot. We got Joe Biden, and if for some miracle he was to get in again and decide to step out, we got Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
The girl that they were so happy to see leave the Attorney General in California, they threw a party. The girl that shows up to almost every place she speaks drunk. You can go watch, no matter what you go watch, she's slurring at every place she gives a lecture. She's just wasted. And so that may be the person who runs our country. That scares me more than Biden does. So, and unfortunately for us, nobody else has been able to field what Trump has been able to do. So it shows you something about America right now that Biden and Trump are our choices. There are brilliant people that live in this country. I mean, brilliant people who could do so much better, and they won't step up. They don't want to step up. One, they have to take a pay cut.
Some of them, yeah.
No, most of them would. Anybody brilliant enough to do this would have to take a pay cut. And you see people like George Soros and what's his name? What's his name? I always want to get him confused with the bar. But anyway, they're billionaires, and they're working from behind the scenes, trying to make things work in their light so they can make more money off of what's going on. And they go pay people to protest and shit. These people should instantly be executed or put in prison for life. Anybody who tries to change, we talk about Jan 6, but we never talk about how much money that the Democrats pump into other states, especially red states, to try to change candidates. First off, there should never be any money allowed to come in from out of state. Whatever you get in your state is what you get. It shouldn't be allowed. None of that shit should be allowed. because Democrats are dumping money in all these different states. When what? Somebody like George Soros he don't live in Pittsburgh or Wyoming or any of these places, and he's dumping $1 billion in there. For what reason? So he can try to sway the election. That should be illegal. So I don't know. Anyway, let me get this poll out right quick. So this is Real Clear Politics. So Yahoo News. So right now the average is that's today's date, 6/6/67. I'm sorry. Trump is up by a half a point. Yahoo News has Biden up by 2. Emerson has Trump up by 1. Morning Consultant has Trump up by 1. These are all of these, by the way, are Democratic polls. Forbes has Trump up by 2. Reuters has Trump down by 2. TTPI has him a tie. Rasmussen has Trump up by 6. And NPR, which of course NPR has him down by 2. Because there's no self-respecting Republican or independent will watch NPR. So here you're looking at this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are Trump, and 3 are Biden. Now let's go into this one. This is the election poll: Trump versus Biden versus Kennedy versus Stein. So this is with all the independents running in the election. So with all the independents, only the Quinnipiac poll does Biden pull ahead. The average across the country with Trump's up by 3 points as an average. He's 6 points at Emerson. He's 2 points at Yahoo. He's 1 point at Yahoo Gov. ITTP is still tied. Forbes, he's up by 2. Rasmussen, he's up by 2. NPR, he's up by 4. Fox, he's up by 3. Quinnipiac, he's down by 2. So out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he has 1 blue. He's up in only one poll.
Wow.
But yet, if you go sit down and read any news right now, oh, Biden's up, man, he's killing Trump. Yeah, well, that's just an outright lie. And this is today's polls. These were done today. So obviously, when you throw the independents in there, Biden's getting his ass kicked. And Kennedy said he's running no matter what. He's running till the end. And I think Stein is too. I think Stein's going to run to the end. So that pretty much puts an end to them. And then they put this on here in case Trump can't run. They put DeSantis on this one. DeSantis would be tied with Biden right now. Up in CBS, up in Rasmussen, up in Fox, only down at Harvard, which doesn't surprise me. So, I mean, at this point, unless something changes drastically, Trump's up. And if this Supreme Court changes the outcome on the 34 cases, it'll be a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a landslide. And one of the 2 courts are going to change it. If the New York upper court don't, the Supreme Court is. It's just a matter of which one's going to do it. What is that, Randy? It's no, because it's easy for companies like NPR to just lie, because that's what they're doing. They're not doing any other polls. They're only taking polls from themselves, and they're only taking it from Democrats. And even with Democrats, think about this. NPR is like 88 or 90% of their listeners are Democrats. And he's only up by 2. He should be up by like 14. He's got a good chance of winning New York.
It sounds like he's already won it.
No, but he's got a good chance of winning it. He's still down a few points, but as you get closer to Election Day, he has a better chance of winning it. No, he can't win Cali. No. There's no win in Cali. He can do good in Cali. He can break 40% in Cali, but he can't win Cali. Maybe give it another 2 or 3 years, he might be able to.
I have a question. It might be unrelated, and it might not be. I was curious about everyone's personal viewpoint on whether or not they think what's happening in Gaza is a genocide or not.
I guess it depends how you look at it.
Biden said he doesn't think it's a genocide. He said what Israel is doing is not considered a genocide, but according to the rest of the world, it is. Even the international.
He's going after a political group, not a genetic group. So yeah, I don't think it's.
Well, then, I mean, you can't say that when there's like babies being killed and stuff. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
They're
So
basically saying,
Hamas killed what was it? 50 babies, burnt them alive, and then stomped their heads in the ground, and then went to a park and mowed down how many teenage kids? 100. They committed genocide. So Hamas actually is the one who committed genocide. All Israel is doing is getting payback. And as long as they have American hostages, as long as they have American hostages, everybody should die. You can't expect America not to get involved if you hold in our people.
For the decades-long brutality they've been.
I wouldn't say decades. I'd say eons.
I mean.
Well, yeah.
Palestine's been pretty good about blowing up Israeli shit for a long time now. This is not like this is something new. I mean, they drop bombs in Israel all the time. So, I mean, see, that's the problem with this. That's the problem with this whole thing.
Back and forth, but they want to
exactly
point out the one date, but not the dates prior, where it's been continuing for a long time.
For a long time.
Like
what was the old general's name for the Palestinians? What was his name?
Oh, God.
Gaddafi.
Yeah.
He killed thousands of Israelis. Thousands of Israelis. So you can't really do this. Palestine has no business being in the middle of Israel. It needs to be moved. It's never going to work there. No way you can make it work.
Palestine there first?
I don't know. Israel, actually, technically, Israel owned the whole area at one time. They just got thrown out by the Egyptians a long time ago. They just came back to take their territory back. So it's all in the way you want to look at it. It's what it comes down to.
See, I need a history lesson on all of this. It really feels monumental in a way on a global scale. Like, it's not just something that's happening in the Middle East or in Israel. It's affecting the mentalities of everyone, like all across the globe.
But no American should ever go against what's going on right now until American people are given back. Anytime you side with somebody who's holding our people, well, you just became one of them, not one of us.
Did you hear that an Israeli sniper targeted an American that was there?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. So much shit goes on over there. It's unbelievable. Well, that would be accident, though. That wouldn't be on purpose. If you kill an American, and on purpose, then that's an act of war against the United States. We just kill you. We just bomb you out of existence. Right now, America's being very well restrained. So think of it this way. This is the first time in the history of the United States that we have let someone take our citizens without retaliation. If Donald Trump was president, we would have blown Hamas off the face of the fucking planet.
Yeah.
It would be no more Hamas. You do not take American citizens. You cannot let anyone in the world think they can take American citizens because we're the richest country on the planet. And if we start letting them take hostages, people all over the fucking planet are going to start taking Americans as hostages. The reason they don't is we have a no negotiation policy when you take our citizens. We kill you. The fact that we haven't done that is beyond me. We do not let you keep our hostages. Ever since that stupid shit with Jimmy Carter, when we lost the 2 helicopters over the 40 hot, we do not.
It was the general's fault, not Carter's.
And then it all started over some airline where they took American hostages in the 70s, and we decided no more negotiations for Americans. Kill the people who take them, and that's what we do. And the fact that we have not killed these people, what are they holding, 40 Americans? 20 Americans? And I've seen 2 of the guys walking from compound. They beat the living shit out of these guys. One of the guys could hardly even walk. He had bruises all up and down his side, blood all over his face. And this is one of our people. And yet we have kids in colleges protesting while we have our own citizens getting the crap beat out of them. Why would you be? That's anti-American is what that is. It doesn't matter what Israelis doing. That's our people. You can get mad at the Israelis all you want, but when you start supporting the Palestinians when they're beating the shit out of our people, that's a wrong attitude. You can't do that. That's anti-American. That's fucking communism is what that is.
Yeah.
Or treason, however you want to look at it. American citizens cannot ever be allowed to be taken hostage by anyone. And the fact that Joe Biden has not done anything about this is amazing.
But the American government can hold us all hostage in forms of taxation.
Oh yeah, they hold us hostage, yeah, because they know what you can do about it. All we can do is just sit there and whine and bitch. And they do hold us hostage over money all the damn time. But on that note, that's our fault because we allowed them to do it. At
You
any
know,
point, the
I
United
just
States
watched
can
a
take all
video.
of this back. We just won't.
I just watched a video saying in Japan they don't have credit scores there. Is that true?
They probably
Like
don't
they don't
need
base
credit scores
anything
there.
on a credit score because it doesn't exist. They don't have credit scores in
They
Japan,
they do
supposedly.
they live they did well. Chinese live different. They do it differently than we do too. There's a couple of things that are done differently around the world, and then there's also countries where your credit score can bounce back a lot faster than it does in the United States. Showing that, like, so let's say your credit score bottoms out at 300. If you have a work history where you're working for 2 years without any trouble, most countries will bounce your score back up to about 600. Not in the United States. You'll have to pay off all kind of debt and bills and bullshit, and then your score will start going up. Uh, we're part of the system, but we allow it. We're the ones that allow companies to charge us $50 late fees and this, that, and other thing when people are dying and having a hard time. They can't make their bills as it is. But if they're late in their car, they're going to charge them an extra $50. They're late in their credit card, they're going to charge them. And if you've got 4 or 5 things, you just racked up $500 in a month easy. And that's not helping the citizens. That's hurting the citizens. And we bitch about it all the time. And eventually, some congressman will come along and change it because it'll affect one of his kids. So that's how most shit gets done in this country. It affects one of their kids, and then shit gets changed.
Hey
But
guys,
right now,
I'm going to call it an evening. So it was a great
yeah,
show.
get out
I'm
of here. Yeah,
fade out.
All right, Jay, have a good one.
See you,
yeah.
Sean.
We ain't got much long anyway. We got 23 minutes.
Yeah.
But good. Thanks for hanging out, Jay.
Take care.
And go
All
get
right,
some
brother.
sleep, man. Go chase that dead kitty around the house. And don't get any dirty minds, people. God, we were talking about his cat. He's got to be cat. He was showing on air before anybody starts sending me text messages. But see, I used to not have any opinion on the Palestinians or the Israelis. I really didn't care. I didn't really figure it was our problem. And I've always had a little issue with how much money we give to Israel. But Palestine became our problem when they took American hostages. See, we would probably be against the Israelis, what they're doing right now, but they're holding our people. So Hamas have made their own problems. But if they just wouldn't have took Americans or they would have gave them back, we would have probably already cut Israel off from giving them weapons. We would have probably already cut them off because the country is 50-50 on this. But when you bring up they got our hostages, then America switches back to about 90-10 on it. So when you listen to people and they're going on, and then they're explaining to you that they're still holding our people and beating our people, raping our people, then the way people look at this changes drastically. And I mean, Hamas killed a lot of babies. I mean, a lot. I mean, some of the images from that were just horrific. Burnt them alive and then crushed their heads. I mean, that's just, we're talking infants. I mean, that's somebody sick. And they did lots of them like that. They showed them lined up and how many they had lined up. And then they went to that concert and killed all them 12, 13, and 14-year-olds. These are innocents. Why would you kill these people? These aren't anybody who's done anything to you. You know, these are the people out enjoying the concert.
But then the response is like times 100. You know what I
No,
mean?
the response hasn't even been enough. That's the problem. They should have wiped them off the face as a plant. Anybody who
You're
thinks it's
saying to wipe
okay.
a whole like race of people off the planet because
If you're a race of people who kills babies, yes, I do.
But no, children aren't.
Let me ask you this: has anybody from Palestine apologized for what happened? They started this. They hadn't been at war for a while, so they went and killed all these kids, and they went and killed all these teenagers. Any of them apologize? If
They would
even one of them
argue
said
that their lands were stolen from them by Zionist Israelis.
But that's not what Joe is saying, Lee. That's not what he's saying. Okay, what Joe is saying is, did the Palestinians apologize for taking the Americans and killing the babies? There's nothing about the war going on over there. That's what
the Americans had nothing to do with this.
Nothing. I mean, that's what he's talking about.
You took innocents as hostages. Do what?
Where
They
did
were
they
taken
get
the day of
taken
the
from?
attack. They got taken on the day of the attack. They took them from all over the place. All together, they took 200 hostages, men, women, and children. And you can see these people when they move them from building to building. They're beating the living shit out of them.
Are any of them being killed? Are there like
We don't know. There's no way
We
for us to
don't know.
find out.
We do
All
not
we
know.
know is all we know is they're not being fed and they're being beaten. And we know that some of the women have been raped. That's all we know. So why would we stop? When people are going to treat our people like that, why would we stop? They started this fight. They wanted this fight.
there's got to be a different way. There's got to be another answer
There
than
does.
wiping
But as
out
long as you
whole.
hold our people, there aren't. See, this is what would happen. If they would give back all the people, the Israelis and the Americans, the UN and America would force this to a standstill. They would force it to stop. They would just say, we're not going to arm you anymore, and we're going to make sure that the Palestinians are getting fed by letting them in there. And then they would force it to stop. But the problem is, it doesn't matter what the Israelis do. The Palestinians are never happy. They always want to start a war. Most of the wars starting over there were not by the Israelis, they were by the Palestinians. And when you go back to Gaddafi, he was a mean, murdering SOB. He killed lots of Israelis for no reason. He just killed them. So you can't have peace when one side just wants to be a terrorist. The Israelis are not terrorists. And unfortunately for the Palestinians, everybody that's associated with them are. See, this is what really sucks about all of this. The Palestinian people are being punished because they let Hamas into their country. And they let Hamas use their hospitals and stuff as places to put their people up.
Is
They're letting
Hamas
it in
just the
schools.
new? Is Hamas just this decade's version of ISIS?
Well, they're just decades version of what's his name? I just said Gaddafi. ISIS is a different type of group for a different kind of thing. This is just somebody who decided, because the Houthis, who were getting involved, kind of backed off now because they realize they're going to get bombed into the Stone Age. Hamas and them just, and they're not asking for anything. They haven't even made any demands for the hostages, nothing. They're just killing people for the sake of killing people.
But
That's
I
why
will tell you
support
this, Joe. I will
both
tell you
sides of the
this.
story.
If Trump wins the election, you're going to see how fast those hostages are released.
Oh yeah, and you will, because he'll go over there and kill them. He'll just go over there and wipe them off the face of the planet. He won't even have any problems with it. And when they talk about wiping people off the planet, they're not talking about killing all the Palestinians. They're talking about killing the Houthis. But if the Palestinians are protecting them, which is what they're doing, then yes, they're going to get killed in the crossfire because they're protecting.
Now it seems like there's bunches of people that are, I wouldn't go as far as saying protecting them, but that are speaking in their favor, like not Hamas, but in a sense they're equating it to armed resistance instead of a terrorist group.
But they attacked. That makes them a terrorist. There's no way out of the terrorist thing. They killed babies and teenagers. There's no way out of that. You're a terrorist. You're a murdering SOB terrorist, and you're holding hostages. There's no way out of that. You can try to say whatever you want, but none of the civilized countries think this is funny, because this could be in their country. This could be in France or Germany or anywhere in Europe or anywhere in the Middle East. You see, Egypt won't let them. You see, nobody in the Middle East will let the Palestinians come in their country. So the Israelis can't be that wrong when no one in the Middle East will let the Palestinians come in their country. Saudi Arabia said no. Egypt said no. Even Syria said no.
Well, apparently Norway
said-
said that if Netanyahu steps into any, like the Netherlands, they'll arrest him for war crimes.
That would be stupid. They would blow them off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
I would not. Israel has nukes. Norway don't. I would not be screwing around with Israel because they do have nukes and they will blow somebody's ass if you go screwing with their. And I'm not sure how the United States would respond to that because they're
So really, like the victor is just the person with the bigger guns.
Very true.
Yep.
It's not necessarily the person who's right or morally just.
In this case, the Israelis are right and morally just. They're not going around stomping babies' heads into the ground. It's not the same thing. They're not taking hostages. And any prisoners they get, they ship out of their country. They don't want them in their country. But the problem here is nobody wants the Palestinians. Nobody. See, like we take South American people all the time. Even we don't want the Palestinians. And we take everybody. Think about it. We take everybody and we don't want them in our country because they're terrorists. They can't be trusted not to go around killing babies. And do you know what would happen if that shit would have happened in the United States? If they would have went into a nursery and killed a bunch of babies and then went to a concert and shot up a bunch of teenagers? There would be nobody left in the Middle East. We'd have probably just wiped the whole fucking thing out and said to hell with it. That's what makes this so dangerous. And you can't, there are some, like Russia or China. Look at this would have happened to Russia or China. They would have wiped them out. They'd have just wiped them out. They'd have said, no, we're not going to put up with this. No civilized country in the world should have to put up with this. This is not something they should have to put up with. And if no one will take you, that tells you you're doing something wrong. Not the world, but you. When Egypt and Saudi won't take the Palestinians, that tells you there's a big problem. They don't want them in their country.
Or maybe they were threatened by
No.
someone with big guns.
No, America wants them to go over there. Israel wants them to go over there. They don't want to go. They don't want them. Egypt said outright they don't want the problems. They don't want the hassles, and they don't want the Houthis blowing shit up in their country. Because they're not going to give them. They're not going to make them a separate part of their country. You'll either have to be. See, this is what's so fucked up about this. Anywhere else in the world the Palestinians go, they will have to become part of whatever country they are. And that's what should be going on here. They should be part of Israel, not a separate country inside of a country, but part of Israel. That's what it should be. Because Israel's a free nation. They don't care what you
United
believe.
States, like a state within the country.
But this is all one nation. We're under one flag. We're not separate. Even though
the Palestinians would never stand by an Israeli flag, and vice versa.
That's one of the problems. And sooner or later, what's going to happen is the Palestinians are going to get wiped from the face of the planet, and they need to know that.
Why? Why is that okay?
It's not okay, but you can't go around killing people. You just can't go around randomly killing people. It's just nobody on this planet is going to put up with that anymore. We're tired of it, and that's why we're back in the Ukraine, because we're tired of it. We don't want this going on our planet. Until recently, there was no wars at all. Obama had ended the last war with Iraq, and there was no wars. Trump was the first president to serve with no wars under his belt. The world was tired. We were done. We don't want war anymore. As a fucking planet, it's not what we want. And the civilized part definitely doesn't want it. Even South America and Africa don't want it. Even though Putin's up there threatening nukes and shit, nobody wants it. Even Xi Jinping doesn't want it. That's why he won't invade Taiwan, because he don't want to start World War III. And he knows if Trump's in the office and he invades Taiwan, we're going to go blow him up. Because they're a protectorate. You can't let protectorates go get taken over, especially when they're making all of our chips for all of our high-end aircraft and shit. It's the planet should be peaceful. Where in the year 2024, there should be none of this going on. None of this. And actually, when Putin's finally going out of Russia, all of that shit will stop. They'll put somebody else in there, like what's his name that was in before him, and there won't be any more of this.
I can't imagine there's many men left in Russia to procreate with.
Well, there was only 144 million people to start off with. Most of them were over the age of 50 or below the age of 10. So it doesn't leave you much of an army.
He doesn't really care about his own future of his country, apparently, if he's killing off all the young men that are capable of creating future generations.
He's creating off the people who might challenge him. He doesn't want to be challenged, because they were actually rioting in the street yesterday in Russia for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
It's dangerous there to do that. You could end up dead or in jail. It's dangerous here after we seen what happened on January 6th. You could end up in jail. So, the world needs peace. We need peace and we need quiet, and we just need to go back to a world that wants to just survive and be friendly with everybody, because we'll never conquer anything if we're not a united planet. The UN is not enough to unite the planet. The UN is a fucking joke. Um, it's been a joke since it was built. No one gives it. Anytime that you let communist countries have vetoes, you're a joke. China should have already been forced to change its government into something else. That's the world's thing, because the majority of the world are not communist. The majority of the world are in some type of republic or democracy or somewhere along those lines. Jeffrey, we're not a democracy. No, the United States is not a democracy. I know people write to me all the time, we live in a democracy. No, we live in a republic.
I don't know, man. It feels like I'm living in
You all right, Lee?
Yeah, I know. Lee, are you throwing something out the window or something?
Sorry.
Yeah,
No.
I thought you fell on your head or something.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing. The Palestinian thing is a tough thing because, there are too many innocents getting killed on both sides.
Yeah, I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like, when is enough enough?
Well, they still got their hostages. It can't be enough until they return them. They're the ones keeping this war going on. All they got to do is give the Israeli hostages.
The way it looks is that they're wiping it all clean so they could go in and build new development for their own people.
They might. But you could stop that by just returning the hostages. But that's the problem. The Houthis don't care.
It's an excuse to just keep it going.
No, the only people keeping this going is the Houthis. This would already be over with. They're the ones who started it, and they're the only ones that can end it. That's it. So they either have to surrender and give back the hostages or get wiped out, whatever comes first. But they're the ones who won't stop. The Americans have reached out to them. The British have reached out to them. The UN has reached out to them. They don't care. All they want to do is kill Israelis. And if that's the case, Israelis are going to kill them back. And right now, Israelis going door to door looking for Houthis to get them out of the Palestinians.
Houthis are the Hamas.
Yeah, well, it's Hamas, the same thing to me.
I thought Houthis was just a tribe.
Houthis live on the north side of Israel. Hamas, I don't even know where Hamas came from. They're just in the Palestinian.
I thought Houthis was synonymous with, say, I don't know, in the United States or North America, like the Chickasaw or Blackfoot tribe, like a tribe, like an indigenous tribe.
I think they're a little more than that these days. I think they're more like a little military army these days. Tribe might be a little on the downside. Okay. They may have been 20 years ago, but that's not what they are today. Today they're a military action group. I mean, they're constantly sending missiles into Israel. Thank God we gave Israel the Patriot system. Or they see right now, if it wouldn't have been for America and the Patriot system, half of Israel would be dust. That's how many ballistic missiles have been shot at Israel in the last 10 years. They would actually be dust. They wouldn't even exist anymore. And the Houthis will tell you, just like Hamas will tell you, just like the Palestinians will tell you, they believe that all Israelis should be dead. How do you fix it? Nobody's going to stop killing you if all you're going to say is you're going to kill them. I mean, it's not going to stop. And until they return the hostages, both Israelis and Americans, the Israelis are not going to stop. They're just not going to stop. And they know it. Hamas knows it, and they still won't stop. Hamas knows. They've been told more than once. The only thing that can start to stop this war is to give us our hostages back, and then we'll go from there. Hamas is the one stealing the UN supplies. It ain't the Israelis. The Israelis got plenty of food. Hamas is taking them and selling them to the rest of the Middle East. They've been caught doing it more than once. So Palestinians are starving because they started the war and they won't let them get fed. But see, most Americans don't take the time to actually find out what's actually going on. They hear somebody in some college running their mouth without actually checking it out and start yelling.
It seems like it's going on all over the place, like every major university.
No, actually, blue universities. Let's just be correct about it. It's not every university. It's just really the blue universities, and it's pretty much the same way overseas, because liberals don't care about Americans. That's what it comes down to. They care about Palestinians, but they don't care about the Americans that are there being held and beaten. Why is that? Why, as an American citizen, would you side with somebody who is beating and killing your people? I mean, we didn't do them anything. We didn't go over there and bomb them. We didn't do them anything. Shit, we've tried to help out the Palestinians many times over the years, giving them money, giving them food. We're not the one, and we're not the one who started this. You want America out of it? Give us our people back. It's really that simple. Give us our people back, and we'll get out of the war altogether. Donald Trump's already said it. Give us our people back. We have no dog in this hunt. That's his exact words. But they're not going to give us our people back, and we're going to end up going and taking them back. You think about it this way. You think the Israelis are causing trouble going street to street in the Palestinians? Wait till the freaking Navy SEALs and the Marines get over there. Because they're going to go, sooner or later, they're going to go get our people. It's just a matter of time. One of them going to be seen dead or killed somewhere, and we're going to flip out as a nation, and we're going to go back and get our people. The fact that our country hasn't already flipped out amazes me, because during Jimmy Carter's presidency, when they were holding him for, America was flipping out every day that we had hostages being held. Now, 2/3 of the country is flipping out every day that our hostages is being held. The other third is flipping out because Palestinians are dying. Well, until they give us our people back, they should die. It's a simple concept.
Even children.
It's a war. And wait, you can't say that because they've already killed children. They're holding American children. It's a real simple concept. You want to stop the war, return the hostages.
Hey, Joe, I got to run, man. I got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I only got about 10 minutes anyway. Again, thanks for hanging out, Sean.
All right. Good night,
Stay out
Leah.
of trouble.
Good night, Sean.
Don't be beating no weirdos,
No.
especially if they're wearing blue shirts or anything.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's all blue.
They're actually doing better now. They're 3 points on the Trump side now. They've switched over, but think of it like that. And if somebody was holding my kid, I would have already been over there shooting him in the head. It wouldn't even been a thought. I would have just walked over there and shot him in the head. You can't hold American citizens and not expect a retaliation. And since Biden's a coward and won't do it, Trump will when he gets in. And maybe that's what they're waiting for. That's what they did with Jimmy Carter. They waited till Reagan came in, and then they released the hostages because they knew it was coming. Because Reagan got on TV and said, I will wipe your whole entire group from the face of the planet. It's not just you. I will hunt down your women and children so there will never be this problem ever again.
So that's kind of what's going on. Is like they're just trying to take out the whole...
No, there's not even that many people dying over there.
I heard it went from like 35,000 fatalities to about 200,000 in just a matter of days.
Then that means somebody's shooting at them. That's the only way it would go up like that, is if somebody was shooting at them. That's see, Israel's troops are trained, and remember, everybody in their country has to serve in the military, men, women. I mean, it's part of what they are. It's kind of strange too to be a citizen. It should be like that here. To be a citizen, you should have to serve in the military. It would make people have a little bit better understanding of what the country actually is.
Yeah. I wish I would have stayed, to be honest. I didn't know.
I do sometimes. I do sometimes wish I was there. Hold on, let me see if I can find this right quick. So to date, 37,000 people have died in the war. It's kind of a little bit lopsided, though. So out of that 37,000, 35,000 are Palestinians, 1,500 are Israelis, 105 are journalists.
Mm-hmm.
Poor journalists. You should take your asses out of there. Killed by the Palestinians, by the way. Some Lebanese, some Hungarians. There's all kind of weird people being killed over there. Actually, it's kind of a strange little smorgasbord of people that they got going on here. But still, 35,000 Palestinians isn't a horrible number. It should be 0, but it's not a horrible number, considering how many people have died in other wars that we've been involved in. I mean, we haven't lost that many people in a war in a while, but it's. I mean, in Iraq, I think there was like 4 million. We killed 5 million or something like that, and we lost 5,000. It's. Let's see. This will tell us what we're looking for. How many children have been killed to date? Missing more than 10,000 people are missing.
Trapped under rubble or just simply obliterated.
So 15,000 children have died on the Gaza Strait. That's both Israelis and Palestinians. Let's see. Killed at least 532 people, including 133 children on the occupied West Bank.
How many children have died of starvation since this began?
And they're just lumping them all together as one thing. Israel, almost 1,100 children have died. So let's see.
Do you think it would be considered a quote unquote holy war?
I don't know if you could call it that or not. It's let's see. So see, this is what I don't understand about all this. When I'm reading this, 80% of commercial facilities, 60% of schools, 14 out of the 35 hospitals have been destroyed. Most of the water, its operation is gone. 267 places to worship have been destroyed. So if you knew this, if somebody
in
was
itself illegal?
No, I don't think so. It's so what I don't understand about all of this is if you knew that these people were systematically destroying you and your way of life and your culture, would you have not returned the hostages to end the war?
What if the hostages don't exist anymore?
Well, then you're in deep shit. You're going to die. They're going to kill all of you. If you're stupid enough to kill off the hostages, especially the American hostages, you're going to die. They're going to go in and they're going to keep looking. See, the problem with that, the reason they've lost the 14 hospitals is because the Palestinians allow Hamas to put their people in the hospitals. They use the people in the hospital as protection. Israelis don't care. They're going in and taking them out. If they know you're there, they're coming in and taking you out. They're not using that as an excuse anymore. They're just not going to put up with it. So that's what I don't understand. You're holding these hostages. Give them back. You want Israel to back off? Give back the hostages. I just don't understand why they don't understand give back the hostages. And they don't want to. They would rather this go on. I think Hamas thought in the beginning the world would step in and help out. And I think that's what they were counting on. But they made a mistake when they started crushing baby skulls and killing teenagers. The world just looked at that like, you need to die. Anybody who thinks it's okay to set a baby on fire and crush its head needs to die. Nobody disagrees with that. And then when you see the shape of some of these hostages as they're moving from house to house, you got to wonder why we haven't done anything yet. If it was any president but Joe Biden, we would have already went in and took our people back.
Yeah, it does seem like a personal, like, what is it? Not a threat, but like an invitation to respond by taking a bunch of hostages.
Yeah, so you're holding out.
Do something about it then.
And that's what they're doing. They're like, they took them, so now Israel feels the need to wipe them out. I think what really pushed them over the edge was seeing those babies' heads crushed. I think anybody who looks at that, and that's what's so funny when you see these people at these Palestinian things. None of them have seen these pictures because I've asked on several of them. I said, "Have you seen these pictures?" And they're like, "Well, no." I said, "Well, how can you protest this if you've not seen these pictures?"
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen them. They're horrible. I've actually seen them up close and personal in the first day it happened because we have connections there, and they're horrible. I mean, they're horrible. I would shoot somebody. I don't even know if I'd just shoot them. I think I'd have to fucking torture them. I mean, what they did to those babies is horrible. I mean, you set an infant on, and not just one. I mean, dozens of them. You just set them on fire and then you stomp their head out to kill them, to put them out their misery.
Wow.
That's some sick fucks there. I mean, any way you look at it, them some sick people. And they need to be taken out. It's those kind of people need to be wiped off the face of our planet. They just need to be removed permanently. What sucks is how many of the Palestinians are going to die or get wiped out because of this. And the bad part is not all the Palestinians even back Hamas. That's the other sad part. You know, when you listen to them talk, a lot of them are not on Hamas's side. But the problem
Right.
is they don't know.
Just
There's
like
no way.
there's Israelis and Jewish people who are renouncing their own citizenship because they don't agree with what Israel's doing. There's a lot of, he said, she said stuff going on. In my opinion, it looks like there are no good guys. There's neither of the sides are.
Well, I'll tell you this. Once you see them pictures, you know there's only one side to be on here. There's not even any doubt about it. When you see them, it's like when we were seeing that stuff come out of Wuhan, because we had 2 reporters in Wuhan right after the thing started, and they were locking down the houses and putting the chains in the hotel crash, and the body bags moving as they were bringing them to the incinerator. When you seen the body bags moving, as you know they were being thrown into the incinerator, you knew which side you needed to be on right there. Same thing here. When you see these babies heads crushed into the ground, you know whose side to be on there. That no one should be allowed to do that. No group should ever be allowed to get away with that. That is terrorism. That should not. And if you let them do it, somebody else is going to do it. That's the whole problem. That's why they should have wiped out ISIL completely, but they didn't. But they should have. Now they're over in Afghanistan causing trouble. Not with us, because they're scared of us now. But still, they're over there causing trouble for other people. A couple of terrorist groups are scared of us now because we've done irreparable damage to their asses and took a lot of their people and hung them from stakes and shit. So
Wow.
they've kind of thought about maybe we shouldn't mess with America anymore. But here's Hamas. I don't know how many hostages they got, but they've got them. And after I seen that one guy, actually there's 2 guys, I would shoot any one of them in the head without even thinking about it. I just pop. That'd be the end of that. Because that could be my son or one of my friends or anybody, grandkids, anybody. I just shoot them. It's I just feel for the people who are being used as human shields. The reason so many of the Palestinians are getting killed is because Hamas is using them as human shields. And see, that's another thing I noticed that the people who are doing Palestinian protests don't even know that. They don't know that. They don't know about the baby. So they're protesting without even knowing there's American hostages.
Hmm.
Back in the day when colleges used to protest, at least people would educate themselves on it. Today, it's something cool to do. It's a bunch of people just following. And, so people like me have to come along and say, well, you're a little bit ignorant. Let's get this straight. And then if you get all the facts and you still want to do the Palestinian, that's fine. At least you got the facts. And then at least you know what's being said.
I was watching some of the videos of the protests at like UCLA or whatever university. And I don't want to downplay their conviction in what they believe, but certain videos did depict people that just looked like they were, they didn't even know why they were there. They were just there clapping.
They were just there. Yeah, they were just out having fun. I'm with the crowd.
This is what my class is doing today.
Yeah, I'm with the cool crowd. I'm just out having fun. And I can understand why they would be upset about the amount of Palestinians, because when it's all said and done, let's see, you got 35,000 Palestinians dead, about 80,000 displaced. More than half of their infrastructure is destroyed. I can see why people are upset. But then all they have to do is give back the hostages, and they won't. And the Palestinians won't give up Hamas, so it's not going to stop. Really, this is entirely on the Palestinians. They can stop this anytime they want. They just don't. I don't know what the problem is. They just don't want to stop it. They're like, okay, well, we're just going to keep going. And you know what? This is what's sad. Israelis looking for a reason to wipe them out of existence because then they don't have to share their country anymore.
Right.
And you know what? Iraq and Iran and Egypt aren't going to care. Because the Palestinians have been a sore spot in the ass in the Middle East for a long time. Just like the whole entire Middle East has been a sore spot in our ass for 1,000 years. We've talked about this on shows about just Lance in the Middle East. Do you know if the whole entire Middle East was just wiped out, that the world would be, what was it? 87% safer. 87% safer.
And there'd be a lot of oil to be had.
And almost everyone agrees that the First World War will probably start there. I mean, the first nuclear war will probably start there.
I think it's begun. That's how I feel. I think that's what's happening.
No, not yet. We haven't gotten crazy yet. You don't see any Americans on the grounds over there or anything, or anything like that, or Turkish or anything like that. Now, Iran and Iraq might get into it. Iran been talking shit, and they're having big riots in their country all over the place because they want freedom. Iraq's been trying to get a democracy for 20 years now, and what they do is they go protest, and then the leaders get rounded up and put in jail.
Wow.
Or executed. A lot of them get executed. So, and then they just recently lost their whole top echelon, their president, their top general. A bunch of them just got killed in a very strange helicopter crash. So nobody knows what happened.
Is it true that like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, there's really, really strict rules, and there's a lot of tourism that goes on there, and people from say Europe or the United States end up going to these places as tourists and end up in prison for not following their very strict laws?
Well, so Dubai is kind of catered to the Western civilization, so they've changed the way they do things. Now, if you're local or a Middle Eastern and you don't abide by the rules, you're going to jail for a long time. But they changed the rules, like American women and European women do not have to wear the thing over their face. They're allowed to wear skirts and all. There's a lot of things they can do there that the local population cannot. They're just not allowed to. But there are countries in the Middle East that you get in trouble for. Like, gentleman was leaving Turkey, had 2 rounds, two bullets in his suitcase. No gun, no nothing, just 2. He's looking at 5 years. They had another guy, I think was in, I forgot what country he was in over there. He had 4 or 5 bullets just rolling around in the bottom of his suitcase. He's looking at 10 years. So stuff like that can get you in trouble. And there are countries over there, if you're a female and you act a certain way, you can get arrested for it.
Yeah.
But most of them try to adhere to Western ways so they don't make problems with the West, meaning Europe and the United States. I'm not sure why they always call Europe the West, since it's right underneath Russia and China. It's like the lower part of Asia, but still, for some reason, they always call it the West. And there are countries like that you can get and find your ass in deep shit really fast. And then you've got Asian countries. So in Singapore, if you spit gum on the ground, you can get 6 months in jail. 6 months for spitting gum on the ground. They are so strict about cleanliness over there, it's ridiculous. It's probably one of the cleanest cities in the world. And they're strict about it. They're throwing paper on the ground. They don't give you tickets, they give you jail time for polluting anything. It's just the way they do things. It's a different world. But yet things that we consider crimes here, they don't consider crimes there. So it's a weird thing, the way the world works. And then Europe is different because Europe has had 2,500 years to make their laws. I mean, France is 2,000 years old. So, those cities where they started out with, wherever they were when they started, were 2,000 years old. You had the Romans and the Greeks that are older than that. So they've had time to see what works and what don't work, where the United States is just trying to figure it out. We don't, and besides, most of our jails are factories to make money anyway.
Yeah.
That's really what they are. That's what they really are for. Even though most Americans are getting tired of it and think there needs to be better ways, that less people need to go to jail and more people need to go to therapy.
I need to go to therapy.
Don't feel bad. Join the rest of us crazy fucks out here. It's what's that, Johnny Lee? President, he should win. And I don't know what the sentence is going to be. I have no idea what this judge is going to do. He has the right to do whatever he wants. He can give Trump 10 years. He can give Trump house arrest. He can give Trump probation. He's a lot of things he can do. as far as that blue guy who's going to go ahead and try to take his Secret Service. So Obama passed a law while Obama was president that all presidents that are still alive get Secret Service for life. Yes. So I'm not even sure if there's a way around that. Yeah. Because he didn't want to get killed. He was the first black president. He wanted to make sure nobody shot his ass. That's why. I liked Obama. I think, see, for me, I think Obama got screwed. I think he should have waited. He should have been a senator for 6 years and then ran for president for two reasons. One, he would have had a better idea how everything worked. And two, he would have made some friends in the Senate on both sides. And he'd have had a better chance of getting shit done. He walked in, and the first thing you hear, let's get health care. And the next thing you hear is, well, this thing's 5,000 pages long. Let's pass it and then read it. Wait, what do you mean pass it and then read it? No telling what was in there. No telling what kind of pork bellies were in there. So right there, that doomed his presidency right there. He lost the House the next year. He lost the Senate. He never got it back the entire time he was president. He was lame duck. All they could do was executive orders, and they were being challenged every time he did one. But nobody tried to impeach him. I'm sure they could have found reasons to impeach him, but nobody tried. Well, he got screwed. He was just too immature for a guy to be president. Besides, he used to smoke weed when he was in the White House. Oh yeah, you know how everybody found out about that? So, I think he had been in for 10 months, and this guy come riding up on a bicycle to the side gate of the White House with a brown paper bag. They threw him on the ground, handcuffed him. And he said, "No, I'm here for Mr. Obama. He called me to bring this to him." And it was a bag of weed from one of the local dispensaries. Oh yeah, it made the paper and everything. It was hilarious. And of course, when he asked, he said, "I don't know what he was talking about. He was in the wrong place." So yeah, we know he smoked cigarettes and weed, which I'm not hating on him. What the hell? He wanted to smoke weed. Good for him. Probably kept him from blowing up more shit than he did. Oh, when you type in Obama killed more people than any president, you have to go all the way to World War II to find a president that killed more people than Obama. Yeah, he was blowing up people with missiles all over the damn place. 2,000 here, 50 here, 100 there, 500 here. It's really funny because everybody hates Trump, but he was the most peaceful president we've had, well, in the last 100 years. I know. But yet he still catches the bad rap. He didn't start any wars. He didn't want to get any wars. He made sure everybody behaved themselves, and if they acted like he was going to be stupid, he pulled a submarine off their coast and unloaded 90 missiles on their head. That's what he did to Syria. Syria said, "We're going to do this and this." He said, "Oh, really? Wait, let me show you something. Before you go getting stupid, let me show you something." And he did that. Matter of fact, he was having dinner with Xi Jinping the night he did that. It was a lesson to Ping. That look, they didn't even know we were there. We just popped up the sub, just launched everything it had, put it back into the water, and sent it home to reload. All they knew was it was raining hellfire on their heads for probably a good 2 hours. It was probably a horrible thing to say. But we have to protect our country, and we have to make sure that our country is protected because nobody else is going to do it but us. And given a chance, everybody out there would take a shot at us to try to take us down. And then some of it we probably deserve, by the way, but some of it we don't. I mean, after all, Europe wouldn't exist without the United States. Germany would be the most powerful nation on the planet without the United States. And Russia would be right there with them. And we'd be just some little shithole country over here trying to mind our own business so nobody killed us if we hadn't already been conquered.
By who?
Well, if we wouldn't have got involved in World War II and let Germany take Europe, he would have had plenty big enough army to come roll over here and take the United States. Remember, everybody forgets Germany was more advanced than the United States was.
They had
all the way.
Didn't they have alien technologies?
Probably. That we probably ended up with. But at the time, they were more advanced. Eventually, we caught up. And then the thing that hurt them is we could mass produce at a record pace, which will be the thing that hurts us if we get in a war with China, because they'll be able to mass produce at a record pace. No, Glenn, we got to go. I am starving, man. Yes, I am starving. What? Say good night to Lee. Say good night to me. Everybody, good night.
I'm
Good
already
audience
ready for
tonight.
bed.
This one's already going to bed. No, it's a good audience. A lot of people listening. I'm glad y'all hung out. Sean will be back next week. Yeah, he's been traveling, selling them damn books, man. I need to buy some of them World War III books. You got World War II, Weird World War II, Weird World War III. Yeah, you should check them out. Well, he's got a really good education, but he was also a tank driver in the army. Yeah, because not all tank drivers are stupid. That's why. I know people see here tank driver, they think, duh, but that's not. He's way smarter than that. Well, that night, good night.
So
Stay
he's
tuned.
seen some things.
Yeah, yeah. Stay tuned for Spaced Out Radio. They'll be up next with. I always want to call him by the wrong name. I've got to stop that. Yeah, I always want to call him by the Quantum Leap guy's name. No, I'm not doing it tonight. No. The Sean's always give you shit about it when I do it. Anyway, stay tuned for Spaced Out Radio. They're actually on right now. They'll come on as soon as we are out of here. They are out of Vancouver, is where they are. Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver, Canada. Go listen to him. Scott is a little weird, but a lot of fun. He might be liberal. But anyway, we got to go. Y'all be good, and I'll see everybody Wednesday. Oh, no, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, no. Actually, there's a special on tomorrow. So y'all will catch that. I'm off tomorrow, and then I'll be back next Saturday and for the next couple of weeks. And then we'll be crewing up the Wednesday shows so that, Lee will be there with us sometimes. What's his face? Jay will be there with us sometimes. No, we're going to be getting into some abduction stuff over the next few weeks. Some different stuff. Yeah, excuse me. Just stuff like, how do you, I think what we're going to do, I've done this before, a day and a night in an abductee's life. Yeah. Except this time we'll do a day and a night in a contactee's life, which generally means more weeks. But anyway, on that note, good night. Stay tuned for Mr. Scott and Spaced Out Radio, and I will see all of y'all